This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. Hello, everyone. It's Thursday, March 25th. I'm Tori here with Lindsay and Al, and Al's pins.
Yes.
What's going on?
Nice,
I
Al.
just have one. It's for neurodiversity.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yes.
I like
Shout
that.
out to my son on the spectrum.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Thank you.
Bravo. All right. Well, we're actually going to start off today taking a look forward because President Biden is holding his first press conference in a little bit and is expected to announce a new vaccination goal. Now, he hinted he could double his original one, now aiming to get 200 people vaccinated in his first 100 days. Speaking of which, more and more people are getting their shots, including Magic Johnson, Arsenio Hall, and Danny Trejo. Take a look.
I want to do it for me, and I want to do it for my family, but also for my community, too, at the same time.
I want to keep my kids safe, and I want to make sure that anybody around me is safe.
Donald J. Trump and Barack Obama both got this. They don't agree on nothing. Stay safe, and let's do this. That actually feels good. It feels like joy is going into my soul.
Going into my soul. I love Arsenio. By the way, I hope I didn't misspeak, but it's 200 million, not 200 vaccinated. I wanted to get that clear, as the new goal Biden has.
I mean,
it's a difference of
Tomato, tomato.
Okay, whatever. As more people get vaccinated and life slowly returns to normal, some of you are wondering what the pandemic's after effects will be. So a new survey is out from Harvard Business School. They found more than 80% of workers who've been working from home would prefer to keep it that way, or go to a hybrid model, working some time at home and some not. I've heard this repeatedly, that spending quality time with their kids, the pets, the home, being a home taker has really helped their life balance. You've been with Colin this whole time. How's it really worked out?
Yeah, I mean, but
well,
we
she's on
also
TV
don't have...
now. She's got to say something great.
It's perfect. No, but I think the commute, cutting down the commute, all that stuff, it actually really matters, especially like in Denver. I don't live that far away, like, 'cause it takes me 20 minutes max to get to work. But like in LA, I lived an hour and a half from the office. And so 3 hours of my day would be spent in the car. Oh. So I think just having the option, maybe that employers say Thursdays and Fridays, or Fridays work from home, that could change your entire life and what you get done for those 3 hours of your day. So I think it's good to keep in mind. It also should help cut costs for a lot of businesses that completely shut down the office. A lot of businesses that I know have said we're going completely remote. The same amount of work is getting done, and I really think that employers should look at the effectiveness and not whether you're sitting there from 9 to 5.
I mean, the productivity has gone up, and other places in Asia, they have like a 4-day weekday, or they you do what you need to do to get your work done, and we won't give you hours even. What do you think, Al?
I've always said, first of all, I think that 81% is low. I think it's low. I don't know anybody that's like, I cannot wait to get back into rush hour traffic, have a fender bender every couple of years. You know, just
have bad coffee.
Just the stress of bad gas station coffee instead of the stuff from your house. I think just being able to start your day, knowing what, like Lindsay, we need you to get this file done and sent to this place by 4:30. We don't care how you do it. We don't care how you're dressed. Just get it done. And I think a lot of people work better under that model. So, you know, I think working from home maybe 10, 15 years ago, you maybe know one person and they'd be like, I'm in a bathrobe all day. But I think people take it seriously now.
Yeah, at least to the top half. There's always sweatpants on the bottom.
I think that's weird. I put pants on.
You're weird.
But people are still alert. Like, they're not on conference calls in their bed. You know, at this point.
No, they're still professional.
Exactly.
Totally.
So I think that we've gotten that far on Zoom calls.
As we've seen, exactly. All right. Well, for a lot of us, the pandemic has had all sorts of also unintended consequences, including weight gain. Let's go there, okay? A new survey found that 61% of Americans have experienced undesired weight changes, and this is incredible. People reported gaining an average 29 pounds. That's on average. So there's like an enormous amount above that. I think this is something that we're gonna really have to deal with, an obesity pandemic epidemic. I mean, I think people ate emotionally throughout this entire thing, and I don't blame them, because mommy did too.
For me, it wasn't emotional. It was just like straight out, I'm buying groceries, I'm cooking, I have nothing else to do. We were drinking, we had to cut it down.
Even bored eating.
Right, we were having wine with like lunch, you know, it wasn't that serious. And so that was the beginning, like, oh my God, we're home. And then it stopped to be so thrilling, and we had to cut back. We realized that we both in the house together. Also, Colin is an amazing cook, so that kind of adds to it.
Did it.
And he's from down south, so it's all down south food. So of course you gain weight, but I didn't think of it as a bad thing. I just thought of it as, okay, well, we got to get mobile. Things are open up. We had a nice little year.
Like, it's a phase that is gonna move on. I think 30 pounds is a lot to have to take off as like I think people are gonna realize how much they really psychologically used food. At least I did. I guess I should speak for myself. I used food for if I was bored, if I was anxious, if I was nervous, if I wanted to fulfill myself somehow without any social interaction.
Yeah, and I mean, just because you're there. You're at home and it's right in your face. Lindsay's talking about meals. First of all, Lindsay, I don't know how you stayed in shape with Colin.
Stayed in shape where?
I mean, that would have. They would have had to knock a wall out of my house to get me down to DBL. Like, honestly, I think, and I remember this when the first time I started writing on the show, I was writing on Shaq's show, and the break room just had like Twizzlers and those little tiny Snickers. So every time you walk by, it's just like, oh, it's a couple Twizzlers. But like at the end of the day, you've had 28 Twizzlers a day, you know, and you gain weight. And I think the snacking at home is really the bad thing, because you're not eating full meals, but you're never kind of not eating something. Oh, 3 graham crackers here, and it just adds up.
Don't you guys think that snacking in the office, it's always someone's birthday, there's always a cake, there's always donuts, or like we're celebrating
but it's not
something?
there at like all hours of the night. Like I can go at like midnight and get stuff. Not that I have. Let's have a good laugh. All right, let us know. I know it's a real thing for a lot of you, so write us in Facebook or YouTube. Another big change for so many is kids are starting to return to in-person learning. So do you all remember this teacher in Memphis? I love this person. David Jamison went viral for videos like this, showing how he greeted each student with their own unique handshake routine. He said the greetings made the students feel special. I would feel unbelievable, and got them pumped up to learn. Well, now he's back in the classroom, greeting students again with their unique handshakes, only this time they're a little farther apart and in masks, no touching. He actually got COVID last year and said experiencing that made him more excited to be back. But as more and more students are returning to classrooms, a lot of people are talking about what it'll take to get them caught up and ready for in-person interactions again. I know that when I see someone, I'm walking my dog and they're walking their dog, I go, God, why are you here on the same block? From 0 to 10, I am not kidding, because now I have to cross. I am not kidding. Do you?
Yes.
I get angry.
And you know, I'm thinking about this in terms of school, though. As a former teacher, just relearning just the protocol over the summer took a week, 2 weeks to be like, sit down, nope, can't go to the bathroom. I know that trick, sit down, stop passing notes, because everybody's still in like summer run around, you know, free range mode. So like now it's been a year in the summer, it's going to be really tough on those teachers. So
do you think as a former teacher and as a parent, do you think the kids are aching to get back to it though?
As somebody that has 2 middle schoolers, yeah, they are.
And I think that a lot of parents and everybody that I've been talking to, like I wanted to say, okay, there are some people that don't want to go back. I know that we hear from teachers all the time on this show, but from my perspective in my small world, I feel like a lot of people are excited to get back in school. Like virtual learning wasn't like this hit, and obviously because we never tested it out, it was kind of like thrown on everybody. So I think people are excited. A lot of teachers have been opened up to get their vaccines, and so hopefully this is a good positive experience where kids can be interactive again. Our co-host Sam is like, her daughter hasn't been around another human, her son, ever.
I saw Miles from afar, and Miles cried because he had never seen another person.
Maybe it was you, and you're blaming COVID. That's something about on your
Don't laugh, Rob. Chris, coming up on TBL, Lindsay is talking to Grammy winner Macy Gray.
So jealous. What
I
a cool
can't
interview.
wait. She's dropping hints of new music and reminiscing about her on-screen debut with Hollywood royalty. She's also such a good actress, I think. And a relationship guru's private life exposed. Can you really trust a love doctor's advice when they've cheated time after time? That's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day. What do you remember most about that experience?
Welcome back to DBL. Look at our co-workers. A big shout out to them. See, they're working from home during that pandemic, doing great. Good to see y'all. See Karen in there. All right. A relationship guru with a huge following on Instagram is getting even more attention now. I don't know if y'all have seen this. His fans have uncovered the fact that he was cheating on his wife, and now in a video that's gone viral, he's admitted to multiple indiscretions, all with his wife right at his side. Some are calling it incredibly, quote, cringeworthy. You be the judge.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jackson was involved with other women outside the marriage. All of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out, definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now.
Now, if you didn't notice, his wife, the zoom in is funny, who was seated next to him, didn't look real pleased to actually be there. And check out the grip that she had on his hand. All right, Linz, tell me what you feel, and was this at all apology worth it? Did it help?
I don't know what's happening here. This lady looks like she's in Get Out, and she's being forced to be there. That grip is so tight, and she's just standing there. And I'm not even going to go on her because Erica and I talked about this yesterday about why she had a bonnet on. Every black lady in the world knows that ain't
was
right.
a bonnet.
To be having on national 1 million followers. Like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm watching this, and I'm just like, man, who I don't even know who this man was before this, but who takes his advice in the first place? And then also, he's the same person that calls out, like, Pastor John Gray in Houston cheated on his wife. He had all the things to say. So now that he is throwing stones from his glass house, I'm just watching this man and just laughing, like, and I just feel bad for her for being in that situation.
Well, I do too, but also, I love that he talked in the third person. That's always a sense of guilt when you're putting yourself out there.
That is Al Jackson did too.
That's a sense of narcissism. That is not a sense of guilt.
I don't think that you guys really caught the thing that really got me, and it's really just a catch-all for getting out of everything. He goes, it's the biblical standard that I'm following now. I was like, oh, so just now? Oh, I didn't know that was an option. I would have been doing that the whole time.
It's like getting saved every time you go to the club afterwards. Get saved.
Exactly. Oh, Lindsay, I'm sorry I stole from your house. I'm following the commandments now.
Only
so
now.
That's good news.
Do either of you ever listen or have followed a love guru or a matchmaker or like anybody that a podcast of some kind of amore?
I mean, I listen to them, but I don't internalize the advice. Like, you have people like Steve Harvey, who I love, but also, like, who are you to be giving this type of advice? Divorced man several times with several different ladies in your life. You know, so I just think that there's a wide gamut of people that don't have successful relationships that want to preach how to get one. And I don't care. Your mistakes don't tell me that you still know how to do it correctly.
Yeah, they often tend to have not great relationships themselves, like Patty Stanger from, what is that one? The Millionaire Matchmaker?
Yes.
She had, like, a rough
I think the best person to take advice from is your good friend that calls you out. Because you have friends that you can call and they'll be like, Lindsay, he's wrong. Tori, I can't believe you're dealing with that. But then you'd be like, Tori, you know how you can be. Al, let's be honest, you were a little out of line. And then that way you can kind of piece together like, okay, that was wrong, but then they said they were wrong for that. And so you don't have this like, and Lindsay said I was right, and Tori, like, I expect my friends to back me up, but you need that one friend that's going to keep it real. And I don't know if a love guru that doesn't know you
can do that.
Or
properly.
your partner.
And also, we just found out Steve Harvey married twice, divorced twice on his third marriage.
Yes, I know.
Fall down twice, get up 3 times.
Some Buddhist saying coming up on DBL, from new music to new movie all about fear. Macy Gray is telling Lindsay all about what she's been up to lately. Do not miss this exciting Chatting with the Stars. I can't wait.
If one doesn't get you, the other might. The symptoms from seasonal allergies can mimic a mild case of COVID-19. Now researchers say there may be a link between high pollen counts and illness rates from COVID. Let's connect the dots. A study involving scientists from all over the world looked at pollen monitoring sites in 31 countries, finding that as pollen counts increased, COVID-19 cases also increased. Pollen can aggravate our immune system even if we're not allergic. Dr. Louis Ziska of Columbia University was involved in the study and tells us cells that line your nose, throat, and lungs become less effective at blocking out viruses when exposed to pollen and increase your risk for respiratory illness. Other scientists say while the data is interesting, it doesn't prove pollen counts are responsible for higher COVID rates. Health professionals say there are many factors that influence infection rates. They do agree that wearing a mask will help protect you from pollen and COVID.
It's been more than 20 years since Macy Gray's iconic song, I Try, and there's no slowing her down. Earlier, I got the scoop on Macy's latest projects and her new movie all about phobias in today's Chatting with the Stars. Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, although you're a Grammy Award-winning artist, Hollywood has embraced you as an actor. But before we get to your latest film, I have to ask you, it's been more than 2 years since you released your last album, Ruby. So when can we expect new music?
You must have read my mind because we actually released our first single from the new album. It's called Thinking of You. Oh, let them worry, let them figure it out. 'Cause I'm drinking. It's on Spotify, all platforms, and we formed. I've been traveling with my touring band for the past 5 years, same guys, and so we made it official this year, and we made a band. So it's called Macy Gray and the California Jet Club.
Yes, I love it. Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day, and that was 20 years ago. So what do you remember most about that experience?
I remember as soon as I got there, I just wanted, because the only reason I did that movie, because I was not an actress, you know, and I thought he was crazy, Antoine Fuqua, for asking me to do that movie. And I was like, you know, whatever, dude. And then he said, you know, by the way, Denzel Washington is in it. And then that's when I was like, oh my God, you know. And that's when I signed up for the movie because I wanted to get a picture with him for my mom. That was really my entire inspiration for doing that movie. I had no interest in acting. And then I got to the set and I realized, you know, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So I asked Denzel, I went to his trailer and I asked him, like, you know, and he said, you know, just do yourself as your character, you know, which is basically what he is a master at.
Now, your latest project is a horror film where people are confronted by their worst fears called phobias. So what makes this like no other horror film?
The Foundation's calculations are off.
The surveyor reported...
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew measured multiple times.
It's different because it's like these 5 kind of individual stories of people who have these fears. My fear is called a telephobia, which I had never heard of. It's fear of imperfection. It's fear of not doing everything right, which I didn't know was a fear. But so I played this crazy, like psychotic, violent, murderous, you know, cruel, lonely lady. And but when I read the script, I totally got to her. Like I could totally relate to her. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying that, but when I read it, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill this, you know?
So Macy, when's the last time you faced your fears in real life?
Off the top of my head, I only really have 2, and they're bugs. I'm like, I'd rather hang out with a tiger with, you know, huge teeth than like a little bug. Like, bugs just freak me out.
Same.
And then heights. For some reason, when I'm going up, I get. Do you get like that tingling when you're going up, or is that just me?
Well, I'm with you on the bugs, but the heights thing, I love heights. Like, I've jumped off of bungee jumping, all this stuff. But the bugs, I'm with you. Well, Macy Gray, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, check out Macy Gray in Phobias on demand or in limited theaters. We'll be right back.
And don't forget to listen to Thinking of You on all the platforms. Thank you, everybody.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The situation we're describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
The expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it. How well do they make antibodies? How well do their T cells respond?
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
Welcome back to DBL. Earlier, Steph showed me some amazing products at even better prices. Here's DBL Deal Blast, presented by MorningSave.com. What do you have for us today, Steph?
First of all, we've got something that's going to create beautiful hairstyles. It is the Sultra Vixen Volumizing Ionic Dryer Brush.
Ooh.
So it gives your hair smooth, frizz-free volume with this dryer brush. Normally, this is as much as $149, but now it's only $25. So saving up to 83%. Next up, it is the Zwilling Now S 6-piece knife block set. So this block set comes with a paring knife, a chef's knife, bread knife, kitchen shears, and sharpener. Nice. So normally this set is $282. But we've got it for $99, saving up to 65%. Okay, Tori, you're out on the town and then it starts pouring down with rain and you get caught out. Well, we've got the answer because this is the 2-pack reverse umbrella compact umbrella. And it comes in a 2-pack set and you can choose your color scheme. So we've got brown snake skin, navy gingham, pink floral, or purple marble. So you can see some of those here. Normally it's as much as $40, but we've got, are you ready? 2 for $20. Lastly, we've got the Toiletry Face and Body Sonic Cleansing Set. And it comes with a replacement set too. So you can get wonderfully cleaner, softer, radiant looking skin with this set. It polishes away dull skin and gently exfoliates away impurities that traditional cleansing just leaves behind. Normally, it's as much as $65, but now it's only $29, saving up to 55%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. It's so easy. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Some good deals. I want everyone to have a wonderful Thursday, to stay safe and to stay happy.
I almost thought it was the weekend the way you presented that.
No, she did too. That's why she paused. And then she said Thursday, because no one wishes anybody a wonderful Thursday. So let's keep it moving on.
DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, which is Friday.
Daily Blast Live.
As more COVID vaccines roll out, normal life seems to be getting closer. But what will the after effects of the pandemic be? From fear of going back to the office to weight gain, we're talking about it all. Jay Leno apologizes for the many jokes he made about Asians over the years. Does a comedian need to apologize for their past history? Twitter's unofficial mayor, Chrissy Teigen, quits the platform for good. What she says the final straw was causing her to leave. And Grammy Award-winning artist Macy Gray is on DBL.
All these people start coming out.
Yes, I love it.
Real, honest, entertaining, live.
Hey, this is Macy Gray, and Daily Blast Live starts right now.
3, 2.
Wow, I love Macy Gray. I just fangirled just a little bit because she said our show's name. Thank you, Macy Gray. Welcome to DBL. It is Thursday, March 25th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. All right, so we're going to start off today taking a look forward. President Biden just held his first press conference and announced an ambitious new goal for getting Americans vaccinated. He's doubling his original one, now aiming to get 200 million people vaccinated in his first 100 days. Speaking of which, more and more people are getting their shots, including some familiar faces like Magic Johnson, Arsenio Hall, and Danny Trejo. Take a look.
I want to do it for me, I want to do it for my family, but also for my community too at the same time.
I want to keep my kids safe, and I want to make sure that that anybody around me is safe.
Donald J. Trump and Barack Obama both got this. They don't agree on nothing. Stay safe and let's do this. That actually feels good. It feels like joy is going into my soul.
Arsenio Hall just summed it up, right? Stick around because our very own Dr. Coley is here and she's answering your questions about getting your shot. So stay tuned for that. And as more and more people get vaccinated and life slowly starts to return to normal, some are wondering what the pandemic's after effects will be. A new survey is out from Harvard Business School. They found that more than 80% of workers who've been working from home would prefer to keep it that way or go to a hybrid model, working from home some of the time. What do you make of that, Al?
I think it makes sense. I think that 15 years ago, if you knew one person who worked from home, they'd be like, oh, it's so easy. I got a great, you'd be like, I know somebody that works from home. Now I think we all kind of got the hang of it a little bit. You know how to treat your day like a work day. You actually put clothes on. You're not in a robe. You're not watching TV. You get your work done, and you're also not driving and commuting, losing an hour. If your commute's a half an hour, that's 5 hours of your week gone. You know, so it just getting your time back, handling your business, and your family's right there. Your favorite pet is right there. I think a lot of people like it.
I think productivity has actually gone up since the pandemic, right? So people are like, I'm not going to go at work and spend 4 hours on Facebook. I'm going to get my work done and do what I have to do at home. So I think it's a great idea that people work from home. Not only that, office space. How much our business is going to save without all that office space and extra, well, I guess
security,
stuff at home,
everything that you need to keep it up.
It saves everybody some money, right?
Even though I agree with you too, and Erica, I just know that some people have been limited by not working in an office, right? So I just don't want to forget about those individuals too, because I know some people thrive by leaving home. They need to have a structured schedule, not to say that
that's
you can't.
Me, though.
That's me too.
Yes.
So I 100% think, Erica, that it's great that you have individuals who are thriving at home, and I like to see that their employees are empowering them, not micromanaging them. But I do know that some people would do anything to be able to go back into an office.
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously, having these conversations about different segments of the population is very reflective of the conversation we were having a year ago. Out of this 81%, this doesn't represent people who we coined as essential frontline workers, right? So not everyone is able to work from home, but for those who are able to work from home, having some autonomy over your time for the past year has been a game changer. People have rethought things like childcare. Instead of working, 5 days a week, now they've consolidated the entire 2-3 days that it takes them to actually get their work done, and they're limiting how much childcare they actually need. So these are conversations that everyone's having, and also businesses are saving a lot of money. It's hitting the commercial real estate industry very hard, but when people realize we don't have to spend this much money on an office space, it changes the game for everyone.
And I was going to say really quickly, Erica, how many people do you know of the two partners, one spouse's almost entire salary is for childcare? Of
course.
Almost, because it's what, $400 a week sometimes?
And if you're a single parent, you're just making just enough to pay those bills because the childcare costs eat up a lot of your income.
They do.
Okay, so from a lot of us, the pandemic has had all sorts of unintended consequences, including weight gain. A new survey found that 61% of Americans have experienced undesired weight changes. And get this, people reported gaining on average 29 pounds.
Wow.
So that surprises you?
29, yes. I would have said maybe 10 to 15. 29, that's a lot of weight to take off, if you're looking to get that off. I put on 10 pounds myself, so that's why I said that. But I mean, I think everyone kind of had that pandemic blues, right? You're at home, you drink a little bit more, you eat a little bit more because there wasn't as much to do. I'm trying to get over that hump still to get ready for springtime, but a lot of people could relate, obviously.
I'm still trying to get over that hump as far as when you mentioned alcohol, you know, and believe me, I say this very carefully, but I don't drink, really. You know me.
Yes,
but I drink now like a few glasses of Chardonnay a week. I know that doesn't sound like a lot to our viewers, but for me, that's a lot.
Right.
So that lowers my inhibitions with like snacking and stuff too. So I think they go hand in hand, at least for me personally. I notice when I'm drinking, I end up eating more too. Erica?
Yeah, I've been doing all the things, but you know, also gyms were closed, so you know that's obviously limiting a lot of things for people as well. But for me personally, just because I've talked about my setback seasons, I knew that from the beginning I had to implement something. So that's when I really started hunkering down on like specific days I do specific things, not to lose weight, just to keep my mind right, because that's the most important thing. The body's totally different. But I had this conversation with my mom around the beginning of the pandemic. My mother, at 68 years old, has lost 40 pounds during the pandemic.
What's her secret then?
She took this
Tell
opportunity.
us.
She retired, and I said, it's all about you, and she was doing all these different things, and the pandemic shut a lot of things down for her. And she now rides her bike, and she does yoga, and she has joined all of these groups like Black Women Who Breathe, and Black Women Who Decorate, and Black Women Who Yoga. And she loves it. It's like her new life. And she lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's incredible.
Good job, Mama Cobb. You need to do some sort of like inspirational speech for people. Put it online. Let people zoom
Mama
in.
Cobb.
Yeah, Dr. Mama Cobb. Amen. Another big change for so many kids are starting to return to in-person learning. So do you all remember this teacher in Memphis? David Jemison went viral for videos like this showing how he greeted each student with their own unique handshake routine. He said the greetings made the students feel special and got them pumped up to learn. Well, now he's back in the classroom greeting students again with their unique handshakes. Only this time they're a little further apart and in masks, no touching. He actually got COVID last year and said experiencing that made him much more excited to be back. But as more and more students are returning to classrooms, a lot of people are talking about what it'll take to get them caught up and ready for in-person interactions again. We have a former teacher here. What do you make of this, Al? And a father of three.
Yes. You know, well, let's look at it first from the kids' perspective. I have two middle schoolers. They cannot wait. Don't forget they can't wait to see their friends again. But as a former teacher, I taught for 5 years, so I'm used to coming off of 5 summers. You have to understand it takes a week just to be like, hey, it's not summertime anymore. You need to sit still. Now we're coming off a summer and a year. So it's going to be very difficult for these students to acclimate back to being in a contained area, not being able to get up when they want to, not being able to zone out like you could on Zoom. So, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for our teachers and our students.
Yeah, my two kids, they're 2 and 4 years old. They go to school. They go to preschool, right? So, or daycare, it's called. I don't even know what it's called. It's not preschool. It's before preschool. So preschool. No. But they only go 2 days a week, and I really think it's important for my family. This is each family's own personal decision. Socialization is very important for me, and so at a young age, I want those kids to know there's other kids in the neighborhood. They're very careful, very clean. They check in once a week with the teachers. So no cases at the school, which is great. But socialization is very important for me.
Yes, and you've been keeping an eye on your district. You've done a great job. I know for Sophie, she cannot wait to start school in the fall.
Man.
She is so excited. And poor Miles is a year old, and he's like seen nothing but our house. Poor guy. We need to get that kid out. Coming up on DBL, we're talking to Macy Gray. She's dropping hints of new music and reminiscing about her on-screen debut with Hollywood royalty, plus Jay Leno's apology, why he is saying sorry over jokes about Asians he made years ago, and a relationship guru's private life exposed. Can you really trust a love doctor's advice when they've cheated time after time themselves? That's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Macy Gray, welcome welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day. What do you remember most about that experience?
Welcome back to DBL, everyone. Check out all our co-workers at home during the pandemic. Keep up the great work, everyone. We miss you. A relationship guru with a huge following on Instagram is getting even more attention now. His fans uncovered the fact that he was cheating on his wife, and now in a video that's gone viral, he admitted to his multiple indiscretions, all with his wife at his side. Some are calling it, quote unquote, cringeworthy. You be the judge.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derek Jackson was involved with other women outside the marriage. All of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out, definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now.
Now, if you didn't notice, his wife, who was seated next to him, didn't look
Was
real
she in a 90s hip hop group?
to be there. Excuse me, Al. Okay. And check out the grip she had on his hand. Okay, Al, so you have something to say because you chimed in quite quickly.
I just, first of all, whenever you start referring to yourself in third person,
thank you.
That's how you know that you're in trouble.
No,
and
that
also
means you're a narcissist.
Yes, but also the fact that here's a definite.
What do you mean by
that? Here's a definite stall tactic from anybody that's in trouble. They list the same thing. He was like, affair, cheating, misdoing. And I'm like, look, anytime that somebody says that they're a guru on relationships, I automatically find that impossible because every relationship is different. The dynamic is different. How they flow together is different. And I feel like if I need help with my relationship, I reach out to the friend that I know will call me out on my nonsense. Not
Have
the
I called
friend
you out before?
Yes, you've called me out before.
I call you right
I don't need
away
a friend
and
that's
I'll
like,
say,
you're always right,
Albert?
you're the best. I need somebody to call me out. Now, that's what you need, not a guru.
I kind of want to hear Erica's take.
Me too.
Because I know
Erica,
she's got it. She's got the answer.
Well, okay, this conversation is being had all around my circles everywhere. I've been talking about this for days, okay? It's so layered. The wife has since come out and defended not only her hat situation, but the fact that she's standing by him. And, you know, I think it's really just, I think Al really said it right. We can't depend on people to tell us how our relationship works. I don't think that there's anything wrong with seeing someone that you have intimate knowledge of or you admire something about their relationship and kind of taking some advice and applying it to your situation. But the idea of someone just telling you everything about relationships is ridiculous, especially since it appears from this guy that the reason why he knew about cheating men is because he's one of them.
Exactly. I feel like he got into his profession out of pure projection, completely.
Well, when I first heard the story,
he was trying to fix himself.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this guy. But then the more I think about it, yes, who would you? I mean, when someone's in jail and they go to talk to young kids, you want to listen to that guy who's been in jail, because I've been there. I've done that. You don't want to follow in these footsteps.
Those are people that have actually, like, recovered and became.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Isn't this guy recovered? This guy's recovered.
No.
He got caught, and now he's like, okay, now we're gonna keep it 100.
I thought he was talking about the past.
That'd be different. I'd be like, kudos to him. He's completely learned. He's atoned.
So he got busted in the middle of
it. He got caught.
Well, that's a whole different story.
He was currently cheating as of Thursday.
We'll be right back.
Okay, that makes it different. I got it. I'm with you.
It's only a matter of time.
If one doesn't get you, the other might. The symptoms from seasonal allergies can mimic a mild case of COVID-19. Now researchers say there may be a link between high pollen counts and illness rates from COVID. Let's connect the dots. A study involving scientists from all over the world looked at pollen monitoring sites in 31 countries, finding that as pollen counts increased, COVID-19 cases also increased. Pollen can aggravate our immune system even if we're not allergic. Dr. Louis Ziska of Columbia University was involved in the study and tells us cells that line your nose, throat, and lungs become less effective at blocking out viruses when exposed to pollen and increase your risk for respiratory illness. Other scientists say while the data is interesting, it doesn't prove pollen counts are responsible for higher COVID rates. Health professionals say there are many factors that influence infection rates. They do agree that wearing a mask will help protect you from pollen and COVID.
Welcome back to DBL. As more Americans get vaccinated against COVID-19, more and more questions keep coming up about the vaccines. Dr. Payal Kohli joining us live. And today we're going to answer your questions, DBL Nation. So let's dive right in. Okay, Payal Kohli, here we go. Dr. Payal Kohli. Veronica from Facebook wants to know, can you get COVID-19 in between your vaccine doses? Great question.
Yes, great question, Veronica. You can absolutely get COVID-19 in between the doses because you're only partially protected. In fact, you can also get it even after you're fully vaccinated, as we have seen. And one of the reasons for this is because we tend to let our guard down a little bit too. I know I'm doing this myself, a little less careful once you're vaccinated because you feel a little more confident. So keep that guard up even after you've, been vaccinated, whether it's one dose or two. And the studies are telling us that the rates are pretty low. So even though it's technically possible to get sick, the study just came out in the New England Journal of Medicine this week that said only 1.82% infections in those who are partially vaccinated healthcare workers that are exposed a lot. So pretty low rate, but still possible.
Great news. All right, Doc, Becky from YouTube wants to know, does everybody make antibodies after getting a vaccine?
A lot of people are asking this as well, Becky. So the answer is we don't know in response to this vaccine because we haven't really looked. What we think is that most people, the majority of people, should make antibodies that are detectable about 3 to 4 weeks after they get the vaccine. Now, we also know with the history of other vaccines that there's some subset of people that are not going to make antibodies even after they get the vaccine. But that doesn't mean that they don't have some protection because there are other types of immune cells like T cells and other types of cells that can offer protection. So I'm basically telling my patients, Jeff, not to get an antibody test after they get the vaccine because it comes out negative. They'll panic and it may not mean that they're not protected.
Okay, and that kind of leads into my next question, Doc. Marcus from Facebook says, can a COVID vaccine give you or me a false positive test?
So a COVID vaccine will give you a positive test, hopefully, on an antibody test, just like we're talking about. So 3 to 4 weeks after you get the vaccine, we're hopeful that you do have those antibodies that turn positive for that spike protein. But it should not give you a false positive test on a viral test. So if you're feeling under the weather and you've had the vaccine, it's still important to go and get tested.
So Tito asks, and this is interesting from Twitter, if you test positive, Dr. Pialcoli, for antibodies, how do you know if it's from the vaccine or from a natural infection?
Aha, yeah. So if we check your antibodies against the spike protein, which is that protein that's part of the vaccines, remember, we're not going to know whether you got those antibodies from the vaccine or from natural infection. But there's actually an antibody test for a different part of the virus, the capsule part of the virus, that you can only have antibodies to if you got the natural infection, because none of the vaccines that we're using have that protein in them. So if you check for that capsule protein antibody, you'll be able to tell whether or not it's from the vaccine or from infection.
Fascinating. Okay, so Dr. Coley, we saved our very own question for last. Look at this video from Mexico, where researchers have designed a nose-only mask meant to be worn while you eat. So we got to know what you think. Is this a breakthrough or more like a lunchtime clown nose?
So I have to say that I really want to see this mask on Jeff and Al, because I think it is nothing more than a clown mask. Because really, I mean, okay, if you think about the theory of it, you've got 2 portals of entry, right? The nose and the mouth, and you're covering up 1 portal. But the point is you're generating a lot of droplets out when you're chewing, and you're also obviously putting things inside your mouth, so you're actually exposing yourself to risk. And the only masks that work really well at stopping transmission are the ones that have a tight fit. So I think this is nothing more than a Halloween costume
gimmick
that I want to see this year on these guys.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Consider it done. For all the work, all the help she's given our show, that's easy.
I don't want that. I don't want that picture getting out there. Get people thinking other things.
That's true.
Yeah. Look at Jeff's mask from Daily Blast Live canceled.
Pyle, you and I are twinning in our tangerine.
Oh, yes, we are. I hadn't noticed. You're right.
Well, yours is a non-emergency color. That's usually a color of a helicopter that's picking you up off the side of a hill. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Dr. Coley, I'll be texting you soon. I'll be venting to you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
We're describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
The expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it, how well do they make antibodies, how well do their T cells respond.
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
You can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here is what's coming up. Lindsay is catching up with Grammy Award-winning singer Macy Gray and getting the scoop on possible new music. Plus, Jay Leno is apologizing after racially insensitive jokes he told years ago. We'll tell you why now. And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home during the pandemic. You all look great. We miss you. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
What? Oh my goodness, if our viewers only knew what happened during the breaks. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al, Miss Erica. joining us from home. Okay, so Jay Leno is apologizing for racist jokes he made in the past about Asians. Last month, Jay met with the Media Action Network for Asian Americans and apologized for decades of jokes at the expense of Asian people. In a statement, Jay said at the time he genuinely thought they were harmless, but now regrets making the jokes. He added he doesn't think his case is an example of cancel culture, but a legitimate wrong that was done on his part. Last year, Gabrielle Union revealed to Variety magazine that she overheard Jay make a racist joke about Koreans eating dog meat while he was a guest judge on America's Got Talent. Okay, so Al, as a comedian, what do you make of his apology and even some of his previous jokes at the expense of Asian Americans?
I mean, a little late now. You already cashed the checks for them. I mean, you go after smaller and marginalized groups because they're easy. Because they can't fight back. And he had his opportunity, and if memory serves, I should have looked this up during the break, but I believe one of his first movies as a young comic was with Pat Morita. You know, and you would think that they would have formed a bond, so when he told those jokes, he would be thinking of his friend. So I just find this very disturbing. Yeah, and it's called Collision Course. They did make a movie, like in, I think, the 80s at some point. So it's very strange.
It's a very obscure reference.
But I watch a lot of comedy.
Jay Leno and Pat Morita. All right, so anyways, I don't think this is cancel culture at all. And you know how I feel about cancel culture. This is accountability, right? He's taking accountability for what he has done in the past. And I think everyone's got to look in the mirror and not necessarily go on social media and point the finger, but look at themselves and say, I could have done better. I should have learned from that experience. Because who is perfect in this life? Who hasn't said something? Me and my friends, I'm going to give a perfect example without using anything. I have a diverse group of friends, and I'll use my Mexican friends as an example. I'm part Italian, part German. We crack on each other all the time with certain stereotypes, but that's in our small group. Does that make it okay because we're in our small group, or should we not even set that example? We're not doing it out in public, but that's how we kind of,
I think friends interacting is kind of,
me and you
fine.
crack like that.
Yeah.
There are certain stereotypes that we bounce off on each other, but does that mean it's not okay to say at all?
I think that's different when you're in your own circle, and that's going to be up to you and your own circle, right?
Right.
Now, with Jay Leno, I take the opposite.
Because he's on a public forum, yes.
Well, Erica, and jump in here, I think too little too late here. I'm glad he's finally taking accountability, and I do agree with Jeff that this is accountability culture, consequence culture, but I feel like he's been pressured into finally apologizing. It's been too many years.
Accountability. We take accountability after 8 people were massacred in a racist attack. That's when we take accountability, because it seems to me like in November of 2019, when Gabrielle Union was let go of America's Got Talent and specifically named Jay Leno, a man who her first big break in late night television interview was Jay Leno, and she said that she held him to high regards. In December of that year, Jay was asked specifically if he thought that Gabrielle Union was treated fairly. And he said, I don't know. I think she's a great girl. Okay, Jay, first of all, she's a woman, but okay. He never took accountability then. And this is a woman who decided to stand up and say that something was not right, even though the racist joke wasn't specifically about her. Everybody's always talking about, if you see something, say something. But when are we going to stand up and support the people who are actually saying something?
Wow.
Because the consequences fall on them. And if we don't say something in order to support the people who are saying things in the moment, you know, a year and a half before we have the uptick of Asian hate crimes. And Jay says in his statement, never acknowledges anything about what happened with America's Got Talent, basically gaslit the situation and never even took accountability for saying the joke. And now he comes back and says that if I had any contribution to racist ideology, that would really hurt me. It would hurt you? Yes, you did contribute. And you had ample opportunities to take accountability when the stakes weren't as high. But now we're on the other side of it. So I don't want to hear it.
I'm
but
with
I would
you.
like an apology for Gabrielle Union.
I'm going to push back, because then what do you want from people, Erica? Do you want them not to apologize? If I found something in my past that I wasn't happy about and I come out now you're saying it's too late and I should be held to this.
No, Jeff,
when do you want people
that's
to
not
apologize?
what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. When in his statement, he says that he has been confronted with this same complaint over and over again. And he had to make the decision as a comedian, which I do understand the line of thinking. Do I go with people and say, oh, I need to apologize? Or do I say, this is a situation where people can't take a joke? Now, over the span of his career, he's chosen on this particular issue to continue to say these people can't take a joke, and then ties it to our conflict with North Korea and all of these other things. But in the grand scheme of things, what I'm telling you is that when you hear something over and over and over again, sometimes that's a check on you, because every single time that little bell is rung, it's getting you closer and closer to a situation where you're not going to be able to talk yourself out of. So that's all I'm saying. He had an opportunity very publicly for someone who was being treated very unfairly on account of something that he said, and it turns out he said it.
I got you.
All I'm saying is, why didn't you take accountability then?
I got you. And I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point here. I'm trying to relate to the rest of America, saying like, hey, man, this is a woke culture, or Black Lives Matter, and maybe I didn't treat people the way I should have in the past. I want to apologize for that. And now I should be scared to come forward and apologize about something I've done wrong.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And I do not want, I don't want that message lost in there.
And I don't want my message lost either, that you think I'm talking about everybody else. I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point to everybody in America wanting to get better as a human being and apologize for what they did in the past. Maybe I was a little bit of a bully in high school. Maybe I didn't treat this person in college the way I should have. I'm just using this as a jump-off point for everybody, not Jay Leno specifically. And if that's where I'm going with this whole thing.
I think you got to take it case by case basis.
Yes.
Okay, so Chrissy, good conversation, both of you. Chrissy Teigen is done with Twitter. Chrissy said goodbye to the social media platform yesterday. In a series of tweets, Chrissy said that she is too sensitive to deal with all the negativity she receives on the site. She said, quote, my life goal is to make people happy. The pain I feel when I don't is too much for me. I've always been portrayed as the strong clapback girl, but I'm just not. She added, quote, my desire to be liked and fear of bleeping people off has made me somebody you didn't sign up for and a different human than I started out here as. Please know all I ever cared about was you. So this is a big deal. I sent this to our group thread last night because we all associate Chrissy Teigen with Twitter. She's the queen of Twitter and the queen of clapback, but it's come at a grave cost to her.
Yeah,
You've talked about it, Jeff.
I've talked about it for over a year, you know, and I think people are starting to catch up now, right? And I think it's starting to affect people that we look up to, that we relate to. And I think just that conversation that me and Erica had, people are just like, they go online and they say their opinions. Me and Erica love each other. Erica, you love me, right?
I love you, Jeff.
Yeah, but
I really do.
Like, we have these conversations for everybody at home trying to relate, but then people want to put their opinion in, and then you read that and you go home and you're like, man, I love Erica. Why would they say that I think like this about Erica? And it brings you down, right? And I've taken myself off of social media lately. I've took this from Joe Rogan. If I do post, I post in ghosts, and I don't read any of the comments, right? I don't need to hear what you need to say. I know what my relationship is like with Erica, with you guys, with my wife, with my family, with my friends. I don't need America telling me who I am, and that's why I got off.
It weighs on you.
Yes,
Does it weigh on you, Al? I feel like you can shrug it off.
But no, you can't, because, you know, I feel like the four of us, and all the hosts, but like the four of us are passionate people about different issues, but just about being good people, good parents, good friends, good coworkers. And when somebody questions and impugns your identity, like all these things that you work for, it hurts. I'm a human being, and if somebody goes, you really disrespected Erica today on the show for like an hour, I'll be walking around the kitchen like, what? I'll text her, you know, and I don't want that. And I know it keeps coming back to Erica, but I remember she said almost a year ago on the show, you said that you're very wary about checking social media at home because you don't want those vibes penetrating the walls of your home. And I have taken that into my life. I make sure that when I am at home, I am very prudent about when I check and how long I check messages, because I just don't want to read 2 or 3 that accuse me of something or accuse one of you guys of saying something, and then I'm like, no, it's a lot sometimes.
I wonder though, I'm just going to bring in a different element to the conversation, because I wonder if we as human beings focus on that negative, and I think we do, because I know for me, I've noticed a lot of positive aspects to social media as of lately, with my brother-in-law being in the ICU.
Yes.
I have seen so much powerful affirmation and prayer come from complete strangers, or people share their own story with double lung transplant or transplant, that has really been life-saving to me and my family. So I just don't want us to have the conversation about social media being so dark and like doomsday, when in reality there's a lot of light there that I have recently witnessed, Erica.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I do think that intent has a lot to do with it as well. When we started the show, it was about having conversations with people who have a mutual respect for each other, not who agree with each other. And I think that these things manifest themselves in our own experiences as individuals. But I'm telling you right here, right now, just because being in media for 20 years, I've been in situations where I've sat across from people who had no respect for me, and consequently, I had no respect for them. And I'm not doing that in my life ever again, professionally or personally. So when we have disagreements, and if one of us crosses or feels like maybe we might have crossed the line, yes, we do check in with each other, because that's the nature of the relationship that we have. I wouldn't be able to have these conversations with somebody who had zero respect for me, or vice versa.
Well said. Macy Gray, everybody. She is coming up next.
Yes.
Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by...
Did you know
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day. What do you remember most about that experience?
Just play that song on repeat like 20 years ago. Well, it's been more than 20 years since Macy Gray's iconic song, I Try, and there's no slowing her down. Earlier, Lindsay got the scoop on Macy's latest projects and her new movie all about phobias in today's Chatting with the Stars.
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, although you're a Grammy award-winning artist, Hollywood has embraced you as an actor. But before we get to your latest film, I have to ask you, it's been more than 2 years since you released your last album, Ruby. So when can we expect new music?
You must have read my mind, because we actually released our first a single from the new album. It's called Thinking of You.
Oh, let them worry, let them figure it out. 'Cause I'm drinking and I'm thinking of you.
It's on Spotify, all platforms, and we formed. I've been traveling with my touring band for the past 5 years, same guys, and so we made it official this year, and we made a band. So it's called Macy Gray and the California Jet Club.
Yes, I love it. Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day, and that was 20 years ago. So what do you remember most about that experience?
I remember as soon as I got there, I just wanted, because the only reason I did that movie, because I was not an actress, and I thought he was crazy, Antoine Fuqua, for asking me to do that movie. And I was like, whatever, dude. And then he said, by the way, Denzel Washington is in it. And then that's when I was like, oh my God, And that's when I signed up for the movie, because I wanted to get a picture with him for my mom. That was really my entire inspiration for doing that movie. I had no interest in acting. And then I got to the set and I realized, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So I asked Denzel, I went to his trailer and I asked him and he said, just do yourself as your character, which is basically what he is a master at.
Now, your latest project is a horror film where people are confronted by their worst fears, called phobias. So what makes this like no other horror film?
The Foundation's calculations are off.
The surveyor reported...
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew measured multiple times.
It's different because it's like these 5 kind of individual stories of people who have these fears. My fear is called a telephobia, which I had never heard of. It's fear of imperfection. It's fear of not doing everything right, which I didn't know was a fear. But so I played this crazy, psychotic, violent, murderous, cruel, lonely lady. And but when I read the script, I totally got to her. I could totally relate to her. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying that, but when I read it, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill this,
So Macy, when's the last time you faced your fears in real life?
Off the top of my head, I only really have 2, and they're bugs. I'm like, I'd rather hang out with a tiger with, huge teeth than a little bug. Bugs just freak me out.
Same.
And then heights. For some reason, when I'm going up, I get, do you get that tingling when you're going up, or is that just me?
Well, I'm with you on the bugs, but the heights thing, I love heights. I've jumped off of bungee jumping, all this stuff, but the bugs, I'm with you. Well, Macy Gray, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, check out Macy Gray in Phobias on demand or in limited theaters. We'll be right back.
And don't forget to listen to Thinking of You on all the platforms. Thank you, everybody.
If one doesn't get you, the other might. The symptoms from seasonal allergies can mimic a mild case of COVID-19. Now researchers say there may be a link between high pollen counts and illness rates from COVID. Let's connect the dots. A study involving scientists from all over the world looked at pollen monitoring sites in 31 countries, finding that as pollen counts increased, COVID-19 cases also increased. Pollen can aggravate our immune system even if we're not allergic. Dr. Louis Ziska of Columbia University was involved in the study and tells us cells that line your nose, throat, and lungs become less effective at blocking out viruses when exposed to pollen and increase your risk for respiratory illness. Other scientists say while the data is interesting, it doesn't prove pollen counts are responsible for higher COVID rates. Health professionals say there are many factors that influence infection rates. They do agree that wearing a mask will help protect you from pollen and COVID.
back to DBL. Earlier, Steph showed Tori some amazing products at even better prices. Here's this week's DBL Deal Blast presented by MorningSave.com.
What do you have for us today, Steph?
Hey Tori, I'm here with some deals and products that you're going to absolutely love. So first of all, we've got something that's going to create beautiful hairstyles. It is the Sultra Vixen Volumizing Ionic Dryer Brush.
Ooh.
So it gives your hair smooth, frizz-free volume with this dryer brush. So it's got a powerful ion generator which dries damp hair, while the dual bristle brush barrel creates curls and waves that can style your hair. Nice. It's got 2 different heat settings, an auto shut-off and a heat shield for maximum safety. Normally, this is as much as $149, but now it's only $25, saving up to 83%.
Wave me up some savings. You know what I'm saying?
I love
the waves.
Next up, I've got the perfect item to add a little bit of colour in the kitchen, and it can also help with any recipe. It is this Willing Now S 6-piece knife block set. So this block set comes with a paring knife, a chef's knife, bread knife, kitchen shears, and sharpener. Nice. The ice-hardened stainless steel blades stay sharper for longer, so that's awesome. And the stylish tone on the handle gives a really bold, fresh statement, and it's available in blueberry, lime, or orange. Okay, so normally this set is $282, but we've got it for $99, saving up to 65%.
A good set of knives is priceless, and also an orange pop. I'll take one.
I love this one.
Love that.
Okay, Tori, we've all been there. You're out on the town and then it starts pouring down with rain and you get caught out. It's terrible. Well, we've got the answer because this is the 2-pack reverse umbrella compact umbrella. So it's got a double layer canopy and inverted design, and it does more to ensure you're protected from the elements. So it's got a reflective border, so it makes it easy to be seen on even the gloomiest of days, and it opens with a push button release. And it comes in a 2-pack set, and you can choose your color scheme. So we've got brown snake skin, navy gingham, pink floral, or purple marble. So you can see some of those here. And normally it's as much as $40, but we've got, are you ready? 2 for $20. Saving up to 50%.
Rain on me savings.
This is awesome, especially this time of year.
Especially, and April's coming. What is that? April shower, something with Mayflower, something like that. Yep.
Lastly, we've got something that will deliver a rejuvenating spa experience from the comfort of your own home at a fraction of the cost. It is the Toiletry Face and Body Sonic Cleansing Set, and it comes with a replacement set too. So you can get wonderfully cleaner, softer, radiant looking skin with this set. It polishes away dull skin and gently exfoliates away impurities that traditional cleansing just leaves behind. You can store it all in this really cute little case when you're at home or when you're out and about on the go, and it comes in the color of your choice. So we've got blue, purple, or pink, and normally it's as much as $65, but now it's only $29, saving up to 55%.
I love getting out all the pores, and that is a good price for that. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. It's so easy. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The situation we're describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
So the expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it, how well do they make antibodies, how well do their T cells respond.
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
Of people defending my dress. Al?
Do they all go to Syracuse, the Orangemen?
That was your best.
I didn't know you were gonna.
Okay.
Say
Erica.
anything. Hi, Erica.
I love you. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow.
About today on Daily Blast Live.
As more COVID vaccines roll out, normal life seems to be getting closer. But what will the after effects of the pandemic be? From fear of going back to the office to weight gain, we're talking about it all. Jay Leno apologizes for the many jokes he made about Asians over the years. Does a comedian need to apologize for their past history? Twitter's unofficial mayor, Chrissy Teigen, quits the platform for good. What she says the final straw was causing her to leave. And Grammy Award-winning artist Macy Gray is on DBL.
All these people start coming out.
Yes, I love it.
Real, honest, entertaining, live.
Hey, this is Macy Gray, and Daily Blast Live starts right now. 3, 2.
Wow, I love Macy Gray. I just fangirled just a little bit because she said our show's name. Thank you, Macy Gray. Welcome to DBL. It is Thursday, March 25th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. All right, so we're going to start off today taking a look forward. President Biden just held his first press conference and announced an ambitious new goal for getting Americans vaccinated. He's doubling his original one, now aiming to get 200 million people vaccinated in his first 100 days. Speaking of which, more and more people are getting their shots, including some familiar faces like Magic Johnson, Arsenio Hall, and Danny Trejo. Take a look.
I want to do it for me, and I want to do it for my family, but also for my community, too, at the same time.
I want to keep my kids safe, and I want to make sure that, anybody around me is safe.
Donald J. Trump and Barack Obama both got this. They don't agree on nothing. Stay safe, and let's do this. That actually feels good. It feels like joy is going into my soul.
Arsenio Hall just summed it up, right? Stick around because our very own Dr. Coley is here and she's answering your questions about getting your shot. So stay tuned for that. And as more and more people get vaccinated and life slowly starts to return to normal, some are wondering what the pandemic's after effects will be. A new survey is out from Harvard Business School. They found that more than 80% of workers who've been working from home would prefer to keep it that way or go to a hybrid model, working from home some of the time. What do you make of that, Al?
I think it makes sense. I think that 15 years ago, if you knew one person who worked from home, they'd be like, oh, it's so easy. I got a great job. You'd be like, I know somebody that works from home. Now I think we all kind of got the hang of it a little bbit. You know how to treat your day like a work day. You actually put clothes on. You're not in a robe. You're not watching TV. You get your work done, and you're also not driving and commuting, losing an hour. If your commute's a half an hour, that's 5 hours of your week gone. You know, so it just getting your time back, handling your business, and your family's right there. Your favorite pet is right there. I think a lot of people like it.
I think productivity has actually gone up since the pandemic, right? So people are like, I'm not going to go at work and spend 4 hours on Facebook. I'm going to get my work done and do what I have to do at home. So I think it's a great idea that people work from home. Not only that, office space. How much our business is going to save without all that office space and extra,
security,
stuff at home,
everything that you need to keep it up.
It saves everybody some money, right?
Even though I agree with you too, and Erica, I just know that some people have been limited by not working in an office, right? So I just don't want to forget about those individuals too, because I know some people thrive by leaving home. They need to have a structured schedule, not to say that
That's
you can't.
Me, though.
That's me too.
Yes.
So I 100% think, Erica, that it's great that you have individuals who are thriving at home, and I like to see that their employees are empowering them, not micromanaging them. But I do know that some people would do anything to be able to go back into an office.
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously, having these conversations about different segments of the population is very reflective of the conversation we were having a year ago. Out of this 81%, this doesn't represent people who we coined as essential frontline workers, right? So not everyone is able to work from home, but for those who are able to work from home, having some autonomy over your time for the past year has been a game changer. People have rethought things like childcare. Instead of working, 5 days a week, now they've consolidated the entire 2-3 days that it takes them to actually get their work done, and they're limiting how much childcare they actually need. So these are conversations that everyone's having, and also businesses are saving a lot of money. It's hitting the commercial real estate industry very hard, but when people realize we don't have to spend this much money on an office space, it changes the game for everyone.
And I was going to say really quickly, Erica, how many people do you know of the two partners, one spouse's almost entire salary is for childcare?
Of course.
Almost, because it's what, $400 a week sometimes?
And if you're a single parent, you're just making just enough to pay those bills because the childcare costs eat up a lot of your income.
They do.
Okay, so from a lot of us, the pandemic has had all sorts of unintended consequences, including weight gain. A new survey found that 61% of Americans have experienced undesired weight changes. And get this, people reported gaining on average 29 pounds.
Wow.
So that surprises you?
29, yes. I would have said maybe 10 to 15. 29, that's a lot of weight to take off, if you're looking to get that off. I put on 10 pounds myself, so that's why I said that. But I mean, I think everyone kind of had that pandemic blues, right? You're at home, you drink a little bit more, you eat a little bit more because there wasn't as much to do. I'm trying to get over that hump still to get ready for springtime, but a lot of people could relate, obviously.
I'm still trying to get over that hump as far as when you mentioned alcohol, and believe me, I say this very carefully, but I don't drink, really. You know me.
Yes,
but I drink now like a few glasses of Chardonnay a week. I know that doesn't sound like a lot to our viewers, but for me, that's a lot.
Right.
So that lowers my inhibitions with like snacking and stuff too. So I think they go hand in hand, at least for me personally. I notice when I'm drinking, I end up eating more too. Erica?
Yeah, I've been doing all the things, but also gyms were closed, so that's obviously limiting a lot of things for people as well. But for me personally, just because I've talked about my setback seasons, I knew that from the beginning I had to implement something. So that's when I really started hunkering down on like specific days I do specific things, not to lose weight, just to keep my mind right, because that's the most important thing. The body's totally different, but I had this conversation with my mom around the beginning of the pandemic. My mother, at 68 years old, has lost 40 pounds during the pandemic.
What's her secret
She took
been?
this
Tell us.
opportunity. She retired, and I said, it's all about you, and she was doing all these different things, and the pandemic shut a lot of things down for her. And she now rides her bike, and she does yoga, and she has joined all of these groups like Black Women Who Breathe, and Black Women Who Decorate, and Black Women Who Yoga. And she loves it. It's like her new life. And she lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's incredible.
Good job, Mama Cobb. You need to do some sort of like
excellent
inspirational speech for people. Put it online. Let
Dr.
people
Mama
zoom in.
Cobb.
Yeah, Dr. Mama Cobb. Amen. Another big change for so many kids are starting to return to in-person learning. So do you all remember this teacher in Memphis? David Jemison went viral for videos like this showing how he greeted each student with their own unique handshake routine. He said the greetings made the students feel special and got them pumped up to learn. Well, now he's back in the classroom greeting students again with their unique handshakes. Only this time they're a little further apart and in masks, no touching. He actually got COVID last year and said experiencing that made him much more excited to be back. But as more and more students are returning to classrooms, a lot of people are talking about what it'll take to get them caught up and ready for in-person interactions again. We have a former teacher here. What do you make of this, Al? And a father of three.
Yes. Well, let's look at it first from the kids' perspective. I have two middle schoolers. They cannot wait. Don't forget they can't wait to see their friends again. But as a former teacher, I taught for 5 years, so I'm used to coming off of 5 summers. You have to understand it takes a week just to be like, hey, it's not summertime anymore. You need to sit still. Now we're coming off a summer and a year. So it's going to be very difficult for these students to acclimate back to being in a contained area, not being able to get up when they want to, not being able to zone out like you could on Zoom. So, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for our teachers and our students.
Yeah, my two kids are 2 and 4 years old. They go to school. They go to preschool, right? So, or daycare, it's called. I don't even know what it's called. It's not preschool. It's before preschool. So preschool. But they only go 2 days a week, and I really think it's important for my family. This is each family's own personal decision. Socialization is very important for me, and so at a young age, I want those kids to know there's other kids in the neighborhood. They're very careful, very clean. They check in once a week with the teachers. So no cases at the school, which is great. But socialization is very important.
Yes,
for me.
and you've been keeping an eye on your district. You've done a great job. I know for Sophie, she cannot wait to start school in the fall.
Man.
She is so excited. And poor Miles is a year old, and he's like seen nothing but our house. Poor guy. We need to get that kid out. Coming up on DBL, we're talking to Macy Gray. She's dropping hints of new music and reminiscing about her on-screen debut with Hollywood royalty, plus Jay Leno's apology, why he is saying sorry over jokes about Asians he made years ago, and a relationship guru's private life exposed. Can you really trust a love doctor's advice when they've cheated time after time themselves? That's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day. What do you remember most about that experience?
Welcome back to DBL, everyone. Check out all our co-workers at home during the pandemic. Keep up the great work, everyone. We miss you. A relationship guru with a huge following on Instagram is getting even more attention now. His fans uncovered the fact that he was cheating on his wife, and now in a video that's gone viral, he admitted to his multiple indiscretions, all with his wife at his side. Some are calling it, quote unquote, cringeworthy. You be the judge.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jackson was involved with other women outside the marriage. All of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out, definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now.
Now, if you didn't notice, his wife, who was seated next to him, didn't look
Was
real
she in a 90s
pleased
hip-hop group?
to be there. Excuse me, Al. Okay. And check out the grip she had on his hand. Okay, Al, so you have something to say because you chimed in quite quickly.
I just, first of all, whenever you start referring to yourself in third person,
thank you.
That's how you know that you're in trouble.
No,
and
that
also
means you're a narcissist.
Yes, but also the fact that here's a definite.
What do you mean by that?
Here's a definite stall tactic from anybody that's in trouble. They list the same thing. He was like, affair, cheating, misdoing. And I'm like, look, anytime that somebody says that they're a guru on relationships, I automatically find that impossible because every relationship is different. The dynamic is different. How they flow together is different. And I feel like if I need help with my relationship, I reach out to the friend that I know will call me out on my nonsense. Not the friend.
Called you out before?
Yes. You've called me out before.
I call you right
I don't need a friend that's like, you're always right, you're the best. I need somebody to call me out. Now, that's what you need, not a guru.
I kind of want to hear Erica's take.
Me too.
Because I know
Erica,
she's got it. She's got the answer.
Well, okay, this conversation is being had all around my circles everywhere. I've been talking about this for days, okay? It's so layered. The wife has since come out and defended not only her hat situation, but the fact that she's standing by him. And, you know, I think it's really just, I think Al really said it right. We can't depend on people to tell us how our relationship works. I don't think that there's anything wrong with seeing someone that you have intimate knowledge of or you admire something about their relationship and kind of taking some advice and applying it to your situation. But the idea of someone just telling you everything about relationships is ridiculous, especially since it appears from this guy that the reason why he knew about cheating men is because he's one of them.
Exactly. I feel like he got into his profession out of pure projection, completely.
Well, when I first heard this story,
he was trying to fix himself.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this guy. But then the more I think about it, yes, who would you? I mean, when someone's in jail and they go to talk to young kids, you want to listen to that guy who's been in jail because I've been there. I've done that. You don't want to follow in these footsteps.
Those are people that have actually, like, recovered and became.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Isn't this guy recovered? This guy's recovered.
No.
He got caught, and now he's like, okay, now we're gonna keep him 100.
I thought he was talking about the past.
That'd be different. I'd be like, kudos to him. He's completely learned and he's atoned.
So he got busted in the middle of this.
He got caught.
That's a whole different story.
He was currently cheating as of Thursday.
We'll be right back.
Okay, that makes it different. I got it. I'm with you.
It's only a matter of time until your check engine light comes on, or worse yet, your car needs repair. That could mean a big...
If one doesn't get you, the other might. The symptoms from seasonal allergies can mimic a mild case of COVID-19. Now researchers say there may be a link between high pollen counts and illness rates from COVID. Let's connect the dots. A study involving scientists from all over the world looked at pollen monitoring sites in 31 countries, finding that as pollen counts increased, COVID-19 cases also increased. Pollen can aggravate our immune system even if we're not allergic. Dr. Louis Ziska of Columbia University was involved in the study and tells us cells that line your nose, throat, and lungs become less effective at blocking out viruses when exposed to pollen and increase your risk for respiratory illness. Other scientists say while the data is interesting, it doesn't prove pollen counts are responsible for higher COVID rates. Health professionals say there are many factors that influence infection rates. They do agree that wearing a mask will help protect you from pollen and COVID.
Welcome back to DBL. As more Americans get vaccinated against COVID-19, more and more questions keep coming up about the vaccines. Dr. Payal Kohli joining us live. And today we're going to answer your questions, DBL Nation. So let's dive right in. Okay, Payal Kohli, here we go. Dr. Payal Kohli. Veronica from Facebook wants to know, can you get COVID-19 in between your vaccine doses? Great question.
Yes, great question, Veronica. You can absolutely get COVID-19 in between the doses because you're only partially protected. In fact, you can also get it even after you're fully vaccinated, as we have seen. And one of the reasons for this is because we tend to let our guard down a little bit too. I know I'm doing this myself, a little less careful once you're vaccinated because you feel a little more confident. So keep that guard up even after you've, been vaccinated, whether it's one dose or two. And the studies are telling us that the rates are pretty low. So even though it's technically possible to get sick, the study just came out in the New England Journal of Medicine this week that said only 1.82% infections in those who are partially vaccinated healthcare workers that are exposed a lot. So pretty low rate, but still possible.
Great news. All right, Doc, Becky from YouTube wants to know, does everybody make antibodies after getting a vaccine?
A lot of people are asking this as well, Becky. So the answer is we don't know in response to this vaccine because we haven't really looked. What we think is that most people, the majority of people, should make antibodies that are detectable about 3 to 4 weeks after they get the vaccine. Now, we also know with the history of other vaccines that there's some subset of people that are not going to make antibodies even after they get the vaccine. But that doesn't mean that they don't have some protection because there are other types of immune cells like T cells and other types of cells that can offer protection. So I'm basically telling my patients, Jeff, not to get an antibody test after they get the vaccine because it comes out negative, they'll panic, and it may not mean that they're not protected.
Okay, and that kind of leads into my next question, Doc. Marcus from Facebook says, can a COVID vaccine give you or me a false positive test?
So a COVID vaccine will give you a positive test, hopefully, on an antibody test, just like we're talking about. So 3 to 4 weeks after you get the vaccine, we're hopeful that you do have those antibodies that turn positive for that spike protein. But it should not give you a false positive test on a viral test. So if you're feeling under the weather and you've had the vaccine, it's still important to go and get tested.
So Tito asks, and this is interesting from Twitter, if you test positive, Dr. Payal Kohli, for antibodies, how do you know if it's from the vaccine or from a natural infection?
Aha, yeah. So if we check your antibodies against the spike protein, which is that protein that's part of the vaccines, remember, we're not going to know whether you got those antibodies from the vaccine or from natural infection. But there's actually an antibody test for a different part of the virus, the capsule part of the virus, that you can only have antibodies to if you got the natural infection, because none of the vaccines that we're using have that protein in them. So if you check for that capsule protein antibody, you'll be able to tell whether or not it's from the vaccine or from infection.
Fascinating. Okay, so Dr. Kohli, we saved our very own question for last. Look at this video from Mexico where researchers have designed a nose-only mask meant to be worn while you eat. So we got to know what you think. Is this a breakthrough or more like a lunchtime clown nose?
So I have to say that I really want to see this mask on Jeff and Al because I think it is nothing more than a clown mask. Because really, I mean, okay, if you think about the theory of it, you've got two portals of entry, right? The nose and the mouth, and you're covering up one portal. But the point is you're generating a lot of droplets out when you're chewing, and you're also obviously putting things inside your mouth, so you're actually exposing yourself to risk. And the only masks that work really well at stopping transmission are the ones that have a tight fit. So I think this is nothing more than a Halloween costume
gimmick
that I want to see this year on these guys.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Consider it done. For all the work, all the help she's given our show, that's easy.
I don't want that. I don't want that picture getting out there. Get people thinking other things.
That's true.
Yeah. Look at Jeff's mask from Daily Blast Live canceled.
Payal, you and I are twinning in our tangerine.
Oh, yes, we are. I hadn't noticed. You're right.
Well, yours is a non-emergency color. That's usually a color of a helicopter that's picking you up off the side of a hill. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Dr. Kohli, I'll be texting you soon. I'll be venting to you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
The expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it, how well do they make antibodies, how well do their T cells respond.
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here is what's coming up. Lindsay is catching up with Grammy Award-winning singer Macy Gray and getting the scoop on possible new music. Plus, Jay Leno is apologizing after racially insensitive jokes he told years ago. We'll tell you why now. And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home during the pandemic. You all look great. We miss you. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
What? Oh my goodness, if our viewers only knew what happened during the breaks. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al, Miss Erica, joining us from home. Okay, so Jay Leno is apologizing for racist jokes he made in the past about Asians. Last month, Jay met with the Media Action Network for Asian Americans and apologized for decades of jokes at the expense of Asian people. In a statement, Jay said at the time he genuinely thought they were harmless, but now regrets making the jokes. He added he doesn't think his case is an example of cancel culture, but a legitimate wrong that was done on his part. Last year, Gabrielle Union revealed to Variety magazine that she overheard Jay make a racist joke about Koreans eating dog meat while he was a guest judge on America's Got Talent. Okay, so Al, as a comedian, what do you make of his apology and even some of his previous jokes at the expense of Asian Americans?
I mean, a little late now. You already cashed the checks for them. I mean, you go after smaller and marginalized groups because they're easy. Because they can't fight back. And he had his opportunity, and if memory serves, I should have looked this up during the break, but I believe one of his first movies as a young comic was with Pat Morita. You know, and you would think that they would have formed a bond, so when he told those jokes, he would be thinking of his friend. So I just find this very disturbing. Yeah, and it's called Collision Course. They did make a movie, like in, I think, the 80s at some point. So it's very strange.
It's a very obscure reference.
I watch a lot of comedy.
Jay Leno and Pat Morita. All right, so anyways, I don't think this is cancel culture at all. And you know how I feel about cancel culture. This is accountability, right? He's taking accountability for what he has done in the past. And I think everyone's got to look in the mirror and not necessarily go on social media and point the finger, but look at themselves and say, I could have done better. I should have learned from that experience. Because who is perfect in this life? Who hasn't said something? Me and my friends, I'm going to give a perfect example without using anything. I have a diverse group of friends, and I'll use my Mexican friends as an example. I'm part Italian, part German. We crack on each other all the time with certain stereotypes, but that's in our small group. Does that make it okay because we're in our small group, or should we not even set that example? We're not doing it out in public, but that's how we kind of,
I think friends interacting is kind of,
me and you
fine.
crack like that. Yeah. There are certain stereotypes that we bounce off on each other, but does that mean it's not okay to say at all?
I think that's different when you're in your own circle, and that's going to be up to you and your own circle, right?
Right.
Now, with Jay Leno, I take the opposite.
Because he's on a public forum, yes.
Well, Erica, and jump in here, I think too little too late here. I'm glad he's finally taking accountability, and I do agree with Jeff that this is accountability culture, consequence culture, but I feel like he's been pressured into finally apologizing. It's been too many years.
Accountability. We take accountability after 8 people were massacred in a racist attack. That's when we take accountability, because it seems to me like in November of 2019, when Gabrielle Union was let go of America's Got Talent and specifically named Jay Leno, a man who her first big break in late night television interview was Jay Leno, and she said that she held him to high regards. In December of that year, Jay was asked specifically if he thought that Gabrielle Union was treated fairly. And he said, I don't know. I think she's a great girl. Okay, Jay, first of all, she's a woman, but okay. He never took accountability then. And this is a woman who decided to stand up and say that something was not right, even though the racist joke wasn't specifically about her. Everybody's always talking about if you see something, say something. But when are we going to stand up and support the people who are actually saying something?
Wow.
Because the consequences fall on them. And if we don't say something in order to support the people who are saying things in the moment, you know, a year and a half before we have the uptick of Asian hate crimes. And Jay says in his statement, never acknowledges anything about what happened with America's Got Talent, basically gaslit the situation and never even took accountability for saying the joke. And now he comes back and says that if I had any contribution to racist ideology, that would really hurt me. It would hurt you? Yes, you did contribute. And you had ample opportunities to take accountability when the stakes weren't as high. But now we're on the other side of it. So I don't want to hear it.
I'm
but
with
I would
you.
like an apology for Gabrielle Union.
I'm going to push back because then what do you want from people, Erica? Do you want them not to apologize? If I found something in my past that I wasn't happy about and I come out now you're saying it's too late and I should be held to this.
No, Jeff,
when do you want people
that's
to
not
apologize?
What I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. When in his statement, he says that he has been confronted with this same complaint over and over again. And he had to make the decision as a comedian, which I do understand the line of thinking. Do I go with people and say, oh, I need to apologize? Or do I say, this is a situation where people can't take a joke? Now, over the span of his career, he's chosen on this particular issue to continue to say these people can't take a joke, and then ties it to our conflict with North Korea and all of these other things. But in the grand scheme of things, what I'm telling you is that when you hear something over and over and over again, sometimes that's a check on you, because every single time that little bell is rung, it's getting you closer and closer to a situation where you're not going to be able to talk yourself out of. So that's all I'm saying. He had an opportunity very publicly for someone who was being treated very unfairly on account of something that he said, and it turns out he said it.
I got you.
All I'm saying is, why didn't you take accountability then?
I got you. And I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point here. I'm trying to relate to the rest of America, saying like, hey, man, this is a woke culture, or Black Lives Matter, and maybe I didn't treat people the way I should have in the past. I want to apologize for that. And now I should be scared to come forward and apologize about something I've done wrong.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And I do not want, I don't want that message lost in there.
And I don't want my message lost either, that you think I'm talking about everybody else. I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point to everybody in America wanting to get better as a human being and apologize for what they did in the past. Maybe I was a little bit of a bully in high school. Maybe I didn't treat this person in college the way I should have. I'm just using this as a jump-off point for everybody, not Jay Leno specifically. And if that's where I'm going with this whole thing.
I think you got to take it case by case basis.
Yes.
Okay, so Chrissy, good conversation, both of you. Chrissy Teigen is done with Twitter. Chrissy said goodbye to the social media platform yesterday. In a series of tweets, Chrissy said that she is too sensitive to deal with all the negativity she receives on the site. She said, quote, my life goal is to make people happy. The pain I feel when I don't is too much for me. I've always been portrayed as the strong clapback girl, but I'm just not. She added, quote, my desire to be liked and fear of bleeping people off has made me somebody you didn't sign up for and a different human than I started out here as. Please know all I ever cared about was you. So this is a big deal. I sent this to our group thread last night because we all associate Chrissy Teigen with Twitter. She's the queen of Twitter and the queen of clapback, but it's come at a grave cost to her.
Yeah,
You've talked about it, Jeff.
I've talked about it for over a year, and I think people are starting to catch up now, right? And I think it's starting to affect people that we look up to, that we relate to. And I think just that conversation that me and Erica had, people are just like, they go online and they say their opinions. Me and Erica love each other. Erica, you love me, right?
I love you, Jeff.
Yeah, but
I really do.
Like, we have these conversations for everybody at home trying to relate, but then people want to put their opinion in, and then you read that and you go home and you're like, man, I love Erica. Why would they say that I think like this about Erica? And it brings you down, right? And I've taken myself off of social media lately. I've took this from Joe Rogan. If I do post, I post in ghosts, and I don't read any of the comments, right? I don't need to hear what you need to say. I know what my relationship is like with Erica, with you guys, with my wife, with my family, with my friends. I don't need America telling me who I am, and that's why I got off.
It weighs on you.
Yes,
Does it weigh on you, Al? I feel like you can shrug it off.
But no, you can't, because, I feel like the four of us, and all the hosts, but like the four of us are passionate people about different issues, but just about being good people, good parents, good friends, good coworkers. And when somebody questions and impugns your identity, like all these things that you work for, it hurts. I'm a human being, and if somebody goes, you really disrespected Erica today on the show for like an hour. I'll be walking around the kitchen like, what? I'll text her, you know, and I don't want that. And I know it keeps coming back to Erica, but I remember she said almost a year ago on the show, you said that you're very wary about checking social media at home because you don't want those vibes penetrating the walls of your home. And I have taken that into my life. I make sure that when I am at home, I am very prudent about when I check and how long I check messages, because I just don't want to read 2 or 3 that accuse me of something or accuse one of you guys of saying something, and then I'm like, no, it's a lot sometimes.
I wonder though, I'm just going to bring in a different element to the conversation, because I wonder if we as human beings focus on that negative, and I think we do, because I know for me, I've noticed a lot of positive aspects to social media as of lately, with my brother-in-law being in the ICU.
Yes.
I have seen so much powerful affirmation and prayer come from complete strangers, or people share their own story with double lung transplant or transplant, that has really been life-saving to me and my family. So I just don't want us to have the conversation about social media being so dark and like doomsday, when in reality there's a lot of light there that I have recently witnessed, Erica.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I do think that intent has a lot to do with it as well. When we started the show, it was about having conversations with people who have a mutual respect for each other, not who agree with each other. And I think that these things manifest themselves in our own experiences as individuals. But I'm telling you right here, right now, just because being in media for 20 years, I've been in situations where I've sat across from people who had no respect for me, and consequently, I had no respect for them. And I'm not doing that in my life ever again, professionally or personally. So when we have disagreements, and if one of us crosses or feels like maybe we might have crossed the line, yes, we do check in with each other, because that's the nature of the relationship that we have. I wouldn't be able to have these conversations with somebody who had zero respect for me, or vice versa.
Well said. Macy Gray, everybody. She is coming up next.
Yes.
Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day. What do you remember most about that experience?
all not just play that song on repeat like 20 years ago? Well, it's been more than 20 years since Macy Gray's iconic song, I Try, and there's no slowing her down. Earlier, Lindsay got the scoop on Macy's latest projects and her new movie all about phobias in today's Chatting with the Stars.
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, although you're a Grammy Award-winning artist, Hollywood has embraced you as an actor. But before we get to your latest film, I have to ask you, it's been more than 2 years since you released your last album, Ruby. So when can we expect new music?
You must have read my mind because we actually released our first single from the new album. It's called Thinking of You.
Oh, let them worry, let them figure it out. 'Cause I'm drinking and I'm thinking of you.
It's on Spotify, all platforms, and we formed. I've been traveling with my touring band for the past 5 years, same guys, and so we made it official this year, and we made a band. So it's called Macy Gray and the California Jet Club.
Yes, I love it. Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day, and that was 20 years ago. So what do you remember most about that experience?
I remember as soon as I got there, I just wanted, because the only reason I did that movie, because I was not an actress, and I thought he was crazy, Antoine Fuqua, for asking me to do that movie. And I was like, whatever, dude. And then he said, by the way, Denzel Washington is in it. And then that's when I was like, oh my God, And that's when I signed up for the movie, because I wanted to get a picture with him for my mom. That was really my entire inspiration for doing that movie. I had no interest in acting. And then I got to the set and I realized, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So I asked Denzel, I went to his trailer and I asked him and he said, just do yourself as your character, which is basically what he is a master at.
Now, your latest project is a horror film where people are confronted by their worst fears called phobias. So what makes this like no other horror film?
The Foundation's calculations are off.
The surveyor reported...
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew measured multiple times.
It's different because it's like these 5 kind of individual stories of people who have these fears. My fear is called a telephobia, which I had never heard of. It's fear of imperfection. It's fear of not doing everything right, which I didn't know was a fear. But so I played this crazy, psychotic, violent, murderous, cruel, lonely lady. And but when I read the script, I totally got to her. I could totally relate to her. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying that, but when I read it, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill this,
So Macy, when's the last time you faced your fears in real life?
Off the top of my head, I only really have 2, and they're bugs. I'd rather hang out with a tiger with, huge teeth than a little bug. Bugs just freak me out.
Same.
And then heights. For some reason, when I'm going up, I get, do you get that tingling when you're going up, or is that just me?
Well, I'm with you on the bugs, but the heights thing, I love heights. I've jumped off of bungee jumping, all this stuff, but the bugs, I'm with you. Well, Macy Gray, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, check out Macy Gray in Phobias on demand or in limited theaters. We'll be right back.
And don't forget to listen to Thinking of You on all the platforms. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, I'm Jake.
If one doesn't get you, the other might. The symptoms from seasonal allergies can mimic a mild case of COVID-19. Now researchers say there may be a link between high pollen counts and illness rates from COVID. Let's connect the dots. A study involving scientists from all over the world looked at pollen monitoring sites in 31 countries, finding that as pollen counts increased, COVID-19 cases also increased. Pollen can aggravate our immune system even if we're not allergic. Dr. Louis Ziska of Columbia University was involved in the study and tells us cells that line your nose, throat, and lungs become less effective at blocking out viruses when exposed to pollen and increase your risk for respiratory illness. Other scientists say while the data is interesting, it doesn't prove pollen counts are responsible for higher COVID rates. Health professionals say there are many factors that influence infection rates. They do agree that wearing a mask will help protect you from pollen and COVID.
Welcome back to DBL. Earlier, Steph showed Tori some amazing products at even better prices. Here's this week's DBL Deal Blast presented by MorningSave.com.
What do you have for us today, Steph? Hey Tori, I'm here with some deals and products that you're going to absolutely love. So first of all, we've got something that's going to create beautiful hairstyles. It is the Sultra Vixen Volumizing Ionic Dryer Brush. Ooh. So it gives your hair smooth, frizz-free volume with this dryer brush. So it's got a powerful ion generator which dries damp hair, while the dual bristle brush barrel creates curls and waves that can style your hair. Nice. It's got 2 different heat settings, an auto shut-off, and a heat shield for maximum safety. Normally, this is as much as $149, Good. But now it's only $25, saving up to 83%.
Wave me up some savings. You know what I'm saying?
I love
the waves.
Next up, I've got the perfect item to add a little bit of colour in the kitchen. Ooh. And it can also help with any recipe. It is this Willing Now S 6-piece knife block set. Ooh. So this block set comes with a paring knife, a chef's knife, bread knife, kitchen shears and sharpener. Nice. The ice-hardened stainless steel blades stay sharper for longer, Ooh. So that's awesome. And the stylish tone on the handle gives a really bold, fresh statement, and it's available in blueberry, lime, or orange. Okay, so normally this set is $282, but we've got it for $99, saving up to 65%.
A good set of knives is priceless, and also an orange pop. I'll take one.
I love this one.
Love that.
Okay, Tori, we've all been there. You're out on the town, and then it starts pouring down with rain, and you get caught out. It's terrible. Well, we've got the answer, because this is the 2-pack Reverse Umbrella Compact Umbrella. What? So it's got a double layer canopy and inverted design, and it does more to ensure you're protected from the elements. So it's got a reflective border, so it makes it easy to be seen on even the gloomiest of days, and it opens with a push button release. And it comes in a 2-pack set, and you can choose your color scheme. So we've got brown snake skin, navy gingham, pink floral, or purple marble. So you can see some of those here. Normally it's as much as $40, but we've got, are you ready? 2 for $20. Saving up to 50%.
Rain on me savings.
This is awesome.
That
especially
is
this time of year.
Especially, and April's coming. What is that? April shower, something with Mayflower, something like that. Yep.
Lastly, we've got something that will deliver a rejuvenating spa experience from the comfort of your own home at a fraction of the cost. It is the Toiletry Face and Body Sonic Cleansing Set, and it comes with a replacement set too. So you can get wonderfully cleaner, softer, radiant looking skin with this set. It polishes away dull skin and gently exfoliates away impurities that traditional cleansing just leaves behind. You can store it all in this really cute little case when you're at home or when you're out and about on the go, and it comes in the color of your choice. So we've got blue, purple, or pink, and normally it's as much as $65, but now it's only $29, saving up to 55%.
I love like getting out all the pores, and that is a good price for that. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. It's so easy. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The situation we're describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
The expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it, how well do they make antibodies, how well do their T cells respond.
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
Of people defending my dress. Al?
Did they all go to Syracuse, the Orangemen?
That was your best.
I didn't know you were going to.
Okay. Erica.
Hi, Erica.
I love you. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
As more COVID vaccines roll out, normal life seems to be getting closer. But what will the after effects of the pandemic be? From fear of going back to the office to weight gain, we're talking about it all. Jay Leno apologizes for the many jokes he made about Asians over the years. Does a comedian need to apologize for their past history? Twitter's unofficial mayor, Chrissy Teigen, quits the platform for good. What she says the final straw was causing her to leave. And Grammy Award-winning artist Macy Gray is on DBL.
All these people start coming out.
Yes, I love it.
Real, honest, entertaining, live.
Hey, this is Macy Gray, and Daily Blast Live starts right now. 3, 2.
Wow, I love Macy Gray. I just fangirled just a little bit because she said our show's name. Thank you, Macy Gray. Welcome to DBL. It is Thursday, March 25th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. All right, so we're going to start off today taking a look forward. President Biden just held his first press conference and announced an ambitious new goal for getting Americans vaccinated. He's doubling his original one, now aiming to get 200 million people vaccinated in his first 100 days. Speaking of which, more and more people are getting their shots, including some familiar faces like Magic Johnson, Arsenio Hall, and Danny Trejo. Take a look.
I want to do it for me, I want to do it for my family, but also for my community too at the same time.
I want to keep my kids safe, and I want to make sure that that anybody around me is safe.
Donald J. Trump and Barack Obama both got this. They don't agree on nothing. Stay safe and let's do this. That actually feels good. It feels like joy is going into my soul.
Arsenio Hall just summed it up, right? Stick around because our very own Dr. Coley is here and she's answering your questions about getting your shot. So stay tuned for that. And as more and more people get vaccinated and life slowly starts to return to normal, some are wondering what the pandemic's after effects will be. A new survey is out from Harvard Business School. They found that more than 80% of workers who've been working from home would prefer to keep it that way or go to a hybrid model, working from home some of the time. What do you make of that, Al?
I think it makes sense. I think that 15 years ago, if you knew one person who worked from home, they'd be like, oh, it's so easy. I got a great job. You'd be like, I know somebody that works from home. Now I think we all kind of got the hang of it a little bit. You know how to treat your day like a work day. You actually put clothes on. You're not in a robe. You're not watching TV. You get your work done, and you're also not driving and commuting, losing an hour. If your commute's a half an hour, that's 5 hours of your week gone. You know, so it just getting your time back, handling your business, and your family's right there. Your favorite pet is right there. I think a lot of people like it.
I think productivity has actually gone up since the pandemic, right? So people are like, I'm not going to go at work and spend 4 hours on Facebook. I'm going to get my work done and do what I have to do at home. So I think it's a great idea that people work from home. Not only that, office space. How much are businesses going to save without all that office space and extra, well, I guess
security,
stuff at home,
everything that you need to keep it up?
It saves everybody some money, right?
Even though I agree with you too, and Erica, I just know that some people have been limited by not working in an office, right? So I just don't want to forget about those individuals too, because I know some people thrive by leaving home. They need to have a structured schedule, not to say that
that's
you can't.
Me, though.
That's me too.
Yes.
So I 100% think, Erica, that it's great that you have individuals who are thriving at home, and I like to see that their employees are empowering them, not micromanaging them. But I do know that some people would do anything to be able to go back into an office.
Oh, for sure. I mean, obviously, having these conversations about different segments of the population is very reflective of the conversation we were having a year ago. Out of this 81%, this doesn't represent people who we coined as essential frontline workers, right? So not everyone is able to work from home, but for those who are able to work from home, having some autonomy over your time for the past year has been a game changer. People have rethought things like childcare. there. Instead of working, 5 days a week, now they've consolidated the entire 2-3 days that it takes them to actually get their work done, and they're limiting how much childcare they actually need. So these are conversations that everyone's having, and also businesses are saving a lot of money. It's hitting the commercial real estate industry very hard, but when people realize we don't have to spend this much money on an office space, it changes the game for everyone.
And I was going to say really quickly, Erica, how many people do you know of the two partners, one spouse's almost entire salary is for childcare? Of
course.
Almost, because it's what, $400 a week sometimes?
And if you're a single parent, you're just making just enough to pay those bills because the childcare costs eat up a lot of your income.
They do.
Okay, so from a lot of us, the pandemic has had all sorts of unintended consequences, including weight gain. A new survey found that 61% of Americans have experienced undesired weight changes. And get this, people reported gaining on average 29 pounds.
Wow.
So that surprises you?
29, yes. I would have said maybe 10 to 15. 29, that's a lot of weight to take off, if you're looking to get that off. I put on 10 pounds myself, so that's why I said that. But I mean, I think everyone kind of had that pandemic blues, right? You're at home, you drink a little bit more, you eat a little bit more because there wasn't as much to do. I'm trying to get over that hump still to get ready for springtime, but a lot of people could relate, obviously.
I'm still trying to get over that hump as far as when you mentioned alcohol, and believe me, I say this very carefully, but I don't drink, really. You know me.
Yes,
but I drink now like a few glasses of Chardonnay a week. I know that doesn't sound like a lot to our viewers, but for me, that's a lot.
Right.
So that lowers my inhibitions with like snacking and stuff too. So I think they go hand in hand, at least for me personally. I notice when I'm drinking, I end up eating more too. Erica?
Yeah, I've been doing all the things, but also gyms were closed, so that's obviously limiting a lot of things for people as well. But for me personally, just because I've talked about my setback seasons, I knew that from the beginning I had to implement something. So that's when I really started hunkering down on like specific days I do specific things, not to lose weight, just to keep my mind right, because that's the most important thing. The body's totally different, but I had this conversation with my mom around the beginning of the pandemic. My mother, at 68 years old, has lost 40 pounds during the pandemic.
What's her secret then?
She took this
Tell
opportunity.
us.
She retired, and I said, it's all about you, and she was doing all these different things, and the pandemic shut a lot of things down for her. And she now rides her bike, and she does yoga, and she has joined all of these groups like Black Women Who Breathe, and Black Women Who Decorate, and Black Women Who Yoga. And she loves it. It's like her new life. And she lost 40 pounds.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's incredible.
Good job, Mama Cobb. You need to do some sort of like inspirational speech for people. Put it online. Let people zoom
Mama
in.
Cobb.
Yeah, Dr. Mama Cobb. Amen. Another big change for so many kids are starting to return to in-person learning. So do you all remember this teacher in Memphis? David Jemison went viral for videos like this showing how he greeted each student with their own unique handshake routine. He said the greetings made the students feel special and got them pumped up to learn. Well, now he's back in the classroom greeting students again with their unique handshakes. Only this time they're a little further apart and in masks, no touching. He actually got COVID last year and said experiencing that made him much more excited to be back. But as more and more students are returning to classrooms, a lot of people are talking about what it'll take to get them caught up and ready for in-person interactions again. We have a former teacher here. What do you make of this, Al? And a father of 3.
Yes. Well, let's look at it first from the kids' perspective. I have 2 middle schoolers. They cannot wait. Don't forget, they can't wait to see their friends again. But as a former teacher, I taught for 5 years, so I'm used to coming off of 5 summers. You have to understand, it takes a week just to be like, hey, it's not summertime anymore, you need to sit still. Now we're coming off a summer and a year. So it's going to be very difficult for these students to acclimate back to being in a contained area, not being able to get up when they want to, not being able to zone out like you could on Zoom. So, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for our teachers and our students.
Yeah, my two kids are 2 and 4 years old. They go to school. They go to preschool, right? So, or daycare, it's called. I don't even know what it's called. It's not preschool. It's before preschool. So preschool. But they only go 2 days a week, and I really think it's important for my family. This is each family's own personal decision. Socialization is very important for me, and so at a young age, I want those kids to know there's other kids in the neighborhood. They're very careful, very clean. They check in once a week with the teachers. So no cases at the school, which is great. But socialization is very important.
Yes,
for me.
and you've been keeping an eye on your district. You've done a great job. I know for Sophie, she cannot wait to start school in the fall.
Man.
She is so excited. And poor Miles is a year old, and he's like seen nothing but our house. Poor guy. We need to get that kid out. Coming up on DBL, we're talking to Macy Gray. She's dropping hints of new music and reminiscing about her on-screen debut with Hollywood royalty, plus Jay Leno's apology, why he is saying sorry over jokes about Asians he made years ago, and a relationship guru's private life exposed. Can you really trust a love doctor's advice when they've cheated time after time themselves? That's coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Welcome back to DBL, everyone. Check out all our co-workers at home during the pandemic. Keep up the great work, everyone. We miss you. A relationship guru with a huge following on Instagram is getting even more attention now. His fans uncovered the fact that he was cheating on his wife, and now in a video that's gone viral, he admitted to his multiple indiscretions, all with his wife at his side. Some are calling it, quote unquote, cringeworthy. You be the judge.
The truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jackson was involved with other women outside the marriage. All of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out, definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now.
Now, if you didn't notice, his wife, who was seated next to him, didn't look
Was she in a 90s hip hop group?
To be there. Excuse me, Al. Okay. And check out the grip she had on his hand. Okay, Al, so you have something to say because you chimed in quite quickly.
I just, first of all, whenever you start referring to yourself in third person,
thank you.
That's how you know that you're in trouble.
No,
and
that
also
means you're a narcissist.
Yeah, yes, but also the fact that here's a definite.
What do you mean by that?
Here's a definite stall tactic from anybody that's in trouble. They list the same thing. He was like, affair, cheating, misdoing. And I'm like, look, anytime that somebody says that they're a guru on relationships, I automatically find that impossible because every relationship is different. The dynamic is different. How they flow together is different. And I feel like if I need help with my relationship, I reach out to the friend that I know will call me out on my nonsense. Not the friend.
Called you out before?
Yes. You've called me out before.
I call you right
I don't need a friend that's like, you're always right, you're the best. I need somebody to call me out. Now, that's what you need, not a guru.
I kind of want to hear Erica's take.
Me too.
Because I know
Erica,
she's got it. She's got the answer.
Well, okay, this conversation is being had all around my circles everywhere. I've been talking about this for days, okay? It's so layered. The wife has since come out and defended not only her hat situation, but the fact that she's standing by him. And, you know, I think it's really just, I think Al really said it right. We can't depend on people to tell us how our relationship works. I don't think that there's anything wrong with seeing someone that you have intimate knowledge of or you admire something about their relationship and kind of taking some advice and applying it to your situation. But the idea of someone just telling you everything about relationships is ridiculous, especially since it appears from this guy that the reason why he knew about cheating men is because he's one of them.
Exactly. I feel like he got into his profession out of pure projection, completely.
Well, when I first heard this story,
he was trying to fix himself.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this guy. But then the more I think about it, yes, who would you? I mean, when someone's in jail and they go to talk to young kids, you want to listen to that guy who's been in jail because I've been there. I've done that. You don't want to follow in these footsteps.
Those are people that have actually, like, recovered and became.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Isn't this guy recovered? This guy's recovered.
No.
He got caught, and now he's like, okay, now we're gonna keep it 100.
I thought he was talking about the past.
That'd be different. I'd be like, kudos to him. He's completely learned and he's atoned.
So he got busted in the middle of this.
He got caught.
That's a whole different story.
He was currently cheating as of Thursday.
We'll be right back.
Okay, that makes it different. I got it. I'm with you.
It's only a matter of time until your check engine light comes on, or worse yet, your car needs repair.
If one doesn't get you, the other might. The symptoms from seasonal allergies can mimic a mild case of COVID-19. Now researchers say there may be a link between high pollen counts and illness rates from COVID. Let's connect the dots. A study involving scientists from all over the world looked at pollen monitoring sites in 31 countries, finding that as pollen counts increased, COVID-19 cases also increased. Pollen can aggravate our immune system even if we're not allergic. Dr. Louis Ziska of Columbia University was involved in the study and tells us cells that line your nose, throat, and lungs become less effective at blocking out viruses when exposed to pollen and increase your risk for respiratory illness. Other scientists say while the data is interesting, it doesn't prove pollen counts are responsible for higher COVID rates. Health professionals say there are many factors that influence infection rates. They do agree that wearing a mask will help protect you from pollen and COVID.
Welcome back back to DBL as more Americans get vaccinated against COVID-19. More and more questions keep coming up about the vaccines. Dr. Payal Kohli joining us live. And today we're going to answer your questions, DBL Nation. So let's dive right in. Okay, Payal Kohli, here we go. Dr. Payal Kohli. Veronica from Facebook wants to know, can you get COVID-19 in between your vaccine doses? Great question.
Yes, great question, Veronica. You can absolutely get COVID-19 in between the doses because you're only partially protected. In fact, you can also get it even after you're fully vaccinated, as we have seen. And one of the reasons for this is because we tend to let our guard down a little bit too. I know I'm doing this myself, a little less careful once you're vaccinated because you feel a little more confident. So keep that guard up even after you've, been vaccinated, whether it's one dose or two. And the studies are telling us that the rates are pretty low. So even though it's technically possible to get sick, the study just came out in the New England Journal of Medicine this week that said only 1.82% infections in those who are partially vaccinated healthcare workers that are exposed a lot. So pretty low rate, but still possible.
Great news. All right, Doc, Becky from YouTube wants to know, does everybody make antibodies after getting a vaccine?
A lot of people are asking this as well, Becky. So the answer is we don't know in response to this vaccine because we haven't really looked. What we think is that most people, the majority of people, should make antibodies that are detectable about 3 to 4 weeks after they get the vaccine. Now, we also know with the history of other vaccines that there's some subset of people that are not going to make antibodies even after they get the vaccine. But that doesn't mean that they don't have some protection because there are other types of immune cells like T cells and other types of cells that can offer protection. So I'm basically telling my patients, Jeff, not to get an antibody test after they get the vaccine because it comes out negative, they'll panic, and it may not mean that they're not protected.
Okay, and that kind of leads into my next question, Doc. Marcus from Facebook says, can a COVID vaccine give you or me a false positive test?
So a COVID vaccine will give you a positive test, hopefully, on an antibody test, just like we're talking about. So 3 to 4 weeks after you get the vaccine, we're hopeful that you do have those antibodies that turn positive for that spike protein. But it should not give you a false positive test on a viral test. So if you're feeling under the weather and you've had the vaccine, it's still important to go and get tested.
So Tito asks, and this is interesting from Twitter, if you test positive, Dr. Payal Kohli, for antibodies, how do you know if it's from the vaccine or from a natural infection?
Aha, yeah. So if we check your antibodies against the spike protein, which is that protein that's part of the vaccines, remember, we're not going to know whether you got those antibodies from the vaccine or from natural infection. But there's actually an antibody test for a different part of the virus, the capsule part of the virus, that you can only have antibodies to if you got the natural infection, because none of the vaccines that we're using have that protein in them. So if you check for that capsule protein antibody, you'll be able to tell whether or not it's from the vaccine or from infection.
Fascinating. Okay, so Dr. Kohli, we saved our very own question for last. Look at this video from Mexico where researchers have designed a nose-only mask meant to be worn while you eat. So we got to know what you think. Is this a breakthrough or more like a lunchtime clown nose?
So I have to say that I really want to see this mask on Jeff and Al because I think it is nothing more than a clown mask. Because really, I mean, okay, if you think about the theory of it, you've got two portals of entry, right? The nose and the mouth, and you're covering up one portal. But the point is you're generating a lot of droplets out when you're chewing, and you're also obviously putting things inside your mouth, so you're actually exposing yourself to risk. And the only masks that work really well at stopping transmission are the ones that have a tight fit. So I think this is nothing more than a Halloween costume
gimmick
that I want to see this year on these guys.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Consider it done. For all the work, all the help she's giving our show, that's easy.
I don't want that. I don't want that picture getting out there. Get people thinking other things.
That's true.
Yeah. Look at Jeff's mask from Daily Best Live canceled.
Payal, you and I are twinning in our tangerine.
Oh, yes, we are. I hadn't noticed. You're right.
Well, yours is a non-emergency color. That's usually a color of a helicopter that's picking you up off the side of a hill. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Dr. Kohli, I'll be texting you soon. I'll be venting to you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube, chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be part of our DBL Nation. But if you're sticking around, here is what's coming up. Lindsay is catching up with Grammy Award-winning singer Macy Gray and getting the scoop on possible new music. Plus, Jay Leno is apologizing after racially insensitive jokes he told years ago. We'll tell you why now. And a big thank you to our coworkers watching from home during the pandemic. You all look great. We miss you. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
What? Oh my goodness, if our viewers only knew what happened during the breaks. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al, Miss Erica, joining us from home. Okay, so Jay Leno is apologizing for racist jokes he made in the past about Asians. Last month, Jay met with the Media Action Network for Asian Americans and apologized for decades of jokes at the expense of Asian people. In a statement, Jay said at the time he genuinely thought they were harmless, but now regrets making the jokes. He added he doesn't think his case is an example of cancel culture, but a legitimate wrong that was done on his part. Last year, Gabrielle Union revealed to Variety magazine that she overheard Jay make a racist joke about Koreans eating dog meat while he was a guest judge on America's Got Talent. Okay, so Al, as a comedian, what do you make of his apology and even some of his previous jokes at the expense of Asian Americans?
I mean, a little late now. You already cashed the checks for them. I mean, you go after smaller and marginalized groups because they're easy. Because they can't fight back. And he had his opportunity, and if memory serves, I should have looked this up during the break, but I believe one of his first movies as a young comic was with Pat Morita. You know, and you would think that they would have formed a bond, so when he told those jokes, he would be thinking of his friend. So I just find this very disturbing. Yeah, and it's called Collision Course. They did make a movie, like in, I think, the 80s at some point. So it's very strange.
It's a very obscure reference.
But I watch a lot of comedy.
Jay Leno and Pat Morita. All right, so anyways, I don't think this is cancel culture at all. And you know how I feel about cancel culture. This is accountability, right? He's taking accountability for what he has done in the past. And I think everyone's got to look in the mirror and not necessarily go on social media and point the finger, but look at themselves and say, I could have done better. I should have learned from that experience. Because who is perfect in this life? Who hasn't said something? Me and my friends, I'm going to give a perfect example without using anything. I have a diverse group of friends, and I'll use my Mexican friends as an example. I'm part Italian, part German. We crack on each other all the time with certain stereotypes, but that's in our small group. Does that make it okay because we're in our small group, or should we not even set that example? We're not doing it out in public, but that's how we kind of,
I think friends interacting is kind of,
me and you
fine.
crack like that. Yeah. There are certain stereotypes that we bounce off on each other, but does that mean it's not okay to say at all?
I think that's different when you're in your own circle, and that's going to be up to you and your own circle, right?
Right.
Now, with Jay Leno, I take the opposite.
Because he's on a public forum, yes.
Well, Erica, and jump in here, I think too little too late here. I'm glad he's finally taking accountability, and I do agree with Jeff that this is accountability culture, consequence culture, but I feel like he's been pressured into finally apologizing. It's been too many years.
Accountability. We take accountability after 8 people were massacred in a racist attack. That's when we take accountability, because it seems to me like in November of 2019, when Gabrielle Union was let go of America's Got Talent and specifically named Jay Leno, a man who her first big break in late night television interview was Jay Leno, and she said that she held him to high regards. In December of that year, Jay was asked specifically if he thought that Gabrielle Union was treated fairly. And he said, I don't know. I think she's a great girl. Okay, Jay, first of all, she's a woman, but okay. He never took accountability then. And this is a woman who decided to stand up and say that something was not right, even though the racist joke wasn't specifically about her. Everybody's always talking about if you see something, say something. But when are we going to stand up and support the people who are actually saying something?
Wow.
Because the consequences fall on them. And if we don't say something in order to support the people who are saying things in the moment, you know, a year and a half before we have the uptick of Asian hate crimes. And Jay says in his statement, never acknowledges anything about what happened with America's Got Talent, basically gaslit the situation and never even took accountability for saying the joke. And now he comes back and says that if I had any contribution to racist ideology, that would really hurt me. It would hurt you? Yes, you did contribute. And you had ample opportunities to take accountability when the stakes weren't as high. But now we're on the other side of it. So I don't want to hear it.
I'm
but
with
I would
you.
like an apology for Gabrielle Union.
I'm going to push back because then what do you want from people, Erica? Do you want them not to apologize? If I found something in my past that I wasn't happy about and I come out now you're saying it's too late and I should be held to this.
No, Jeff,
when do you want people
that's
to
not
apologize?
what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. When in his statement, he says that he has been confronted with this same complaint over and over again. And he had to make the decision as a comedian, which I do understand the line of thinking. Do I go with people and say, oh, I need to apologize? Or do I say, this is a situation where people can't take a joke? Now, over the span of his career, he's chosen on this particular issue to continue to say these people can't take a joke, and then ties it to our conflict with North Korea and all of these other things. But in the grand scheme of things, what I'm telling you is that when you hear something over and over and over again, sometimes that's a check on you, because every single time that little bell is rung, it's getting you closer and closer to a situation where you're not going to be able to talk yourself out of. So that's all I'm saying. He had an opportunity very publicly for someone who was being treated very unfairly on account of something that he said, and it turns out he said it.
I got you.
All I'm saying is, why didn't you take accountability then?
I got you. And I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point here. I'm trying to relate to the rest of America, saying like, hey, man, this is a woke culture, or Black Lives Matter, and maybe I didn't treat people the way I should have in the past. I want to apologize for that. And now I should be scared to come forward and apologize about something I've done wrong.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And I do not want, I don't want that message lost in there.
And I don't want my message lost either, that you think I'm talking about everybody else. I'm using Jay Leno as a jump-off point to everybody in America wanting to get better as a human being and apologize for what they did in the past. Maybe I was a little bit of a bully in high school. Maybe I didn't treat this person in college the way I should have. I'm just using this as a jump-off point for everybody, not Jay Leno specifically. And if that's where I'm going with this whole thing.
I think you got to take it case by case basis.
Yes.
Okay, so Chrissy, good conversation, both of you. Chrissy Teigen is done with Twitter. Chrissy said goodbye to the social media platform yesterday. In a series of tweets, Chrissy said that she is too sensitive to deal with all the negativity she receives on the site. She said, quote, my life goal is to make people happy. The pain I feel when I don't is too much for me. I've always been portrayed as the strong clapback girl, but I'm just not. She added, quote, my desire to be liked and fear of bleeping people off has made me somebody you didn't sign up for and a different human than I started out here as. Please know all I ever cared about was you. So this is a big deal. I sent this to our group thread last night because we all associate Chrissy Teigen with Twitter. She's the queen of Twitter and the queen of clapback, but it's come at a grave cost to her. Yeah, You've talked about it, Jeff.
I've talked about it for over a year, you know, and I think people are starting to catch up now, right? And I think it's starting to affect people that we look up to, that we relate to. And I think just that conversation that me and Erica had, people are just like, they go online and they say their opinions. Me and Erica love each other. Erica, you love me, right?
I love you, Jeff.
Yeah, but
I really do.
Like, we have these conversations for everybody at home trying to relate, but then people want to put their opinion in, and then you read that and you go home and you're like, man, I love Erica. Why would they say that I think like this about Erica? And it brings you down, right? And I've taken myself off of social media lately. I've took this from Joe Rogan. If I do post, I post in ghosts, and I don't read any of the comments, right? I don't need to hear what you need to say. I know what my relationship is like with Erica, with you guys, with my wife, with my family, with my friends. I don't need America telling me who I am, and that's why I got off.
It weighs on you.
Yes,
Does it weigh on you, Al?
Yeah.
I feel like you can shrug it off.
But no, you can't, because, you know, I feel like the four of us, and all the hosts, but like the four of us are passionate people about different issues, but just about being good people, good parents, good friends, good coworkers. And when somebody questions and impugns your identity, like all these things that you work for, it hurts. I'm a human being, and if somebody goes, you really disrespected Erica today on the show for like an hour. I'll be walking around the kitchen like, what? I'll text her, you know, and I don't want that. And I know it keeps coming back to Erica, but I remember she said almost a year ago on the show, you said that you're very wary about checking social media at home because you don't want those vibes penetrating the walls of your home. And I have taken that into my life. I make sure that when I am at home, I am very prudent about when I check and how long I check messages, because I just don't want to read 2 or 3 that accuse me of something or accuse one of you guys of saying something, and then I'm like, no, it's a lot sometimes.
I wonder though, I'm just going to bring in a different element to the conversation, because I wonder if we as human beings focus on that negative, and I think we do, because I know for me, I've noticed a lot of positive aspects of social media as of lately, with my brother-in-law being in the ICU.
Yes.
I have seen so much powerful affirmation and prayer come from complete strangers, or people share their own story with double lung transplant or transplant that has really been life-saving to me and my family. So I just don't want us to have the conversation about social media being so dark and like doomsday, when in reality there's a lot of light there that I have recently witnessed, Erica.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I do think that intent has a lot to do with it as well. When we started the show, it was about having conversations with people who have a mutual respect for each other, not who agree with each other. And I think that these things manifest themselves in our own experiences as individuals. But I'm telling you right here, right now, just because being in media for 20 years, I've been in situations where I've sat across from people who had no respect for me, and consequently, I had no respect for them. And I'm not doing that in my life ever again, professionally or personally. So when we have disagreements, and if one of us crosses or feels like maybe we might have crossed the line, yes, we do check in with each other, because that's the nature of the relationship that we have. I wouldn't be able to have these conversations with somebody who had zero respect for me, or vice versa.
Well said. Macy Gray, everybody. She is coming up next.
Yes.
Don't go away.
Closed captioning provided by
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day. What do you remember most about that experience?
not just play that song on repeat like 20 years ago. Well, it's been more than 20 years since Macy Gray's iconic song, I Try, and there's no slowing her down. Earlier, Lindsay got the scoop on Macy's latest projects and her new movie all about phobias in today's Chatting with the Stars.
Macy Gray, welcome to Daily Blast Live.
Hello there.
Now, although you're a Grammy Award-winning artist, Hollywood has embraced you as an actor. But before we get to your latest film, I have to ask you, it's been more than 2 years since you released your last album, Ruby. So when can we expect new music?
You must have read my mind because we actually released our first single from the new album. It's called Thinking of You.
Oh, let them worry, let them figure it out. 'Cause I'm drinking and I'm thinking of you.
It's on Spotify, all platforms, and we formed. I've been traveling with my touring band for the past 5 years, same guys, and so we made it official this year, and we made a band. So it's called Macy Gray and the California Jet Club.
Yes, I love it. Now, a lot of people don't know, but your film debut was in the Denzel Washington blockbuster Training Day, and that was 20 years ago. So what do you remember most about that experience?
I remember as soon as I got there, I just wanted, because the only reason I did that movie, because I was not an actress, and I thought he was crazy, Antoine Fuqua, for asking me to do that movie. And I was like, whatever, dude. And then he said, by the way, Denzel Washington is in it. And then that's when I was like, oh my God, And that's when I signed up for the movie, because I wanted to get a picture with him for my mom. That was really my entire inspiration for doing that movie. I had no interest in acting. And then I got to the set and I realized, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So I asked Denzel, I went to his trailer and I asked him and he said, just do yourself as your character, which is basically what he is a master at.
Now, your latest project is a horror film where people are confronted by their worst fears called phobias. So what makes this like no other horror film?
The Foundation's calculations are off.
The surveyor reported...
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew
I'm not talking about boundary lines.
Our crew measured multiple times.
It's different because it's like these 5 kind of individual stories of people who have these fears. My fear is called a telephobia, which I had never heard of. It's fear of imperfection. It's fear of not doing everything right, which I didn't know was a fear. But so I played this crazy, psychotic, violent, murderous, cruel, lonely lady. And but when I read the script, I totally got to her. I could totally relate to her. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying that, but when I read it, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill this,
So Macy, when's the last time you faced your fears in real life?
Off the top of my head, I only really have 2, and they're bugs. I'm like, I'd rather hang out with a tiger with, huge teeth than a little bug. Bugs just freak me out.
Same.
And then heights. For some reason, when I'm going up, I get, do you get that tingling when you're going up, or is that just me?
Well, I'm with you on the bugs, but the heights thing, I love heights. I've jumped off of bungee jumping, all this stuff, but the bugs, I'm with you. Well, Macy Gray, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation, check out Macy Gray in Phobias on demand or in limited theaters. We'll be right back.
And don't forget to listen to Thinking of You on all the platforms. Thank you, everybody.
If one doesn't get you, the other might. The symptoms from seasonal allergies can mimic a mild case of COVID-19. Now researchers say there may be a link between high pollen counts and illness rates from COVID. Let's connect the dots. A study involving scientists from all over the world looked at pollen monitoring sites in 31 countries, finding that as pollen counts increased, COVID-19 cases also increased. Pollen can aggravate our immune system even if we're not allergic. Dr. Louis Ziska of Columbia University was involved in the study and tells us cells that line your nose, throat, and lungs become less effective at blocking out viruses when exposed to pollen and increase your risk for respiratory illness. Other scientists say while the data is interesting, it doesn't prove pollen counts are responsible for higher COVID rates. Health professionals say there are many factors that influence infection rates. They do agree that wearing a mask will help protect you from pollen and COVID.
Welcome back to DBL. Earlier, Steph showed Tori some amazing products at even better prices. Here's this week's DBL Deal Blast presented by MorningSave.com.
What do you have for us today, Steph? Hey Tori, I'm here with some deals and products that you're going to absolutely love. So first of all, we've got something that's going to create beautiful hairstyles. It is the Sultra Vixen Volumizing Ionic Dryer Brush. Ooh. So it gives your hair smooth, frizz-free volume with this dryer brush. So it's got a powerful ion generator which dries damp hair, while the dual bristle brush barrel creates curls and waves that can style your hair. Nice. It's got 2 different heat settings, an auto shut-off and a heat shield for maximum safety. Normally, this is as much as $149,
Ooh.
but now it's only $25. Saving up to 83%.
Wave me up some savings, you know what I'm saying?
I love
the waves.
Next up, I've got the perfect item to add a little bit of colour in the kitchen. Ooh. And it can also help with any recipe. It is this Willing Now S 6-piece knife block set. Ooh. So this block set comes with a paring knife, a chef's knife, bread knife, kitchen shears and sharpener. Nice. The ice-hardened stainless steel blades stay sharper for longer. Ooh. So that's awesome. And the stylish tone on the handle gives a really bold, fresh statement. And it's available in blueberry, lime, or orange. Ooh. Okay, so normally this set is $282, but we've got it for $99, saving up to 65%.
A good set of knives is priceless, and also an orange pop. I'll take one.
I love this one.
Love that.
Okay, Tori, we've all been there. You're out on the town and then it starts pouring down with rain and you get caught out. It's terrible. Well, we've got the answer because this is the 2-pack reverse umbrella compact umbrella. What? So it's got a double layer canopy and inverted design, and it does more to ensure you're protected from the elements. So it's got a reflective border, so it makes it easy to be seen on even the gloomiest of days, and it opens with a push button release. And it comes in a 2-pack set, and you can choose your color scheme. So we've got brown snake skin, navy gingham, pink floral, or purple marble. So you can see some of those here. And normally it's as much as $40, but we've got, are you ready? 2 for $20. Saving up to 50%.
Rain on me savings.
This is awesome, especially this time of year.
Especially, and April's coming. What is that? April shower, something with Mayflowers, something like that. Yep.
Lastly, we've got something that will deliver a rejuvenating spa experience from the comfort of your own home at a fraction of the cost. It is the Toiletry Face and Body Sonic Cleansing Set, and it comes with a replacement set too. So you can get wonderfully cleaner, softer, radiant looking skin with this set. It polishes away dull skin and gently exfoliates away impurities that traditional cleansing just leaves behind. You can store it all in this really cute little case when you're at home or when you're out and about on the go, and it comes in the colour of your choice. So we've got blue, purple or pink, and normally it's as much as $65, but now it's only $29, saving up to 55%.
I love getting out all the pores, and that is a good price for that. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. It's so easy. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The situation we're describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
The expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it, how well do they make antibodies, how well do their T cells respond.
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
Defending my dress, Al.
Did they all go to Syracuse, the Orangemen?
That was your best.
I didn't know you were gonna.
Okay,
say
Erica.
anything. Hi, Erica.
I love you. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.